Rhythm. Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat.
Woo! What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight for a Victory Monday. A very special kind of Victory Monday, because we're going to be fast forwarding right through Victory Monday into, the next look for the team, things like that. But of course, we always have to talk about everything to do with our Dallas Cowboys and beyond. So with that said, take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily, hop in Discord, link for that's in the description box down below, and of course, kicking off a brand new week with some brand new shout outs and representation, although some familiar faces back on the board. An extra special shout out to our sponsor of the week and the Cash App King, SnugX.
Yeah.
You know why he's here.
You know.
Shout out to you, Snug. Appreciate you. And of course, the Membership King, representing after a last-minute takeover,
Yeah.
Jason Renfro.
That's right. Gifting the memberships neck and neck with Mr. Skeptical Fan. Now Jason, going back to back like our 90s Cowboys on the gifting board with 4 last week. So much love to him. And speaking of Jason Renfro, he's currently the man leading the way. He's the overall leader currently right now, kicking off a new week. And he's also the current Cash App leader. They are trying to challenge SnugX for that top spot. Much love to Jason Renfro because he dropped a $1 holler earlier tonight and followed up with a $1.47 holler. Both of them saying, "Go Cowboys." Appreciate you, Jason. He's in the lead there. Gifting right up there. You see the gifting leaders, of course. Just new week, so no gifting leaders yet. But Jason Renfro, will he go for that three-peat? We shall see. Gifting champ Jason. He's trying to do a little takeover here of his own. And we'll see what happens. As Marco Seppian, like you said, still repping it with that Jalen Brooks, 83. And we'll talk about our 33 to 10 dismantling, skinning of the Panthers of Carolina. In a moment, though. In a moment. Because first, of course, guys, there's different ways to drop the love here on My Cowboys Family. The super chats, the thanks button, the gifting memberships we just talked about. You can jump on in the membership of the Navy Blue, Silver, Star, or Over. Everything. A lot of different perks there. Percolating. But we also have 4 other ways you can kind of challenge, not just on the overall board, but also in the Cash App Kingdom. And baby, how are those? How are those ways?
Of course, you have the Cash App money sign My Cowboys Family, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and last but not least, the Streamlabs link, which lets your comment show up on screen just like a super chat.
Damn right. You just saw LC, the big winner of the Star level membership, over everything level membership. That's one of the big perks here at MCF. Different levels have different shout outs, different days. You have the emoji. Everybody has the emojis. And if you check them right now, you see some new, but we already moved on from the Panthers and the emoji side. We're on Washington, the Commies. You can drop those. We got a whole bunch of those in there already. But also, again, as we said yesterday, great stuff there. Big winner there, LC, with the star level, over everything level membership. Sewn and stitched jerseys, Cowboy Mosh style. You know the deal. Much love to Mosh and the whole family here, repping that star for everything. And then when you talk about, the shout-outs here, we got to talk about that top shelf shout-out. Again, the star level, over everything level.
Happens here on the nightly.
Yeah, nightly shout-outs, because you guys make this thing go run. And baby, why don't you read them all out one by one?
Huge shout out to Skeptical Fan, Jason Renfro, Lincoln Kane, Mary Alvarez, Andy Potched, Marissa Sparkle, The Lunatic, and over everything, Seabass.
Seabass got that over everything level membership. Could be more, could be less. We'll see what happens and who jumps in there. The monthly discussions here with us on My Cowboys Family, if you're in that top shelf level membership, as well as being in those raffles. And perks associated with all the raffles here if you're in the membership in any level. Sometimes.
Now, I just realized something. We've always called him Seabass. Is it Seabass or Seabass?
Seabass, because look at his name, baby.
Seabass,
We
right?
know his name. His full name.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. I said it behind the scenes. So
It's a
it
slow
took her a minute to get there.
It took me a second there. Okay, so yeah, true. It is Seabass. So I just reading it, I was like, have we been saying it wrong the whole time?
That? We don't want to do the Mark Hovsepian thing mistake. We kept saying Mark's name wrong for a while.
Oh, well, with that said, let me go ahead, do the shout out to everybody here chilling, hanging with us.
Who's in the house?
We're diving right into it. Thank you to Mr. Seabass under the sea. There you go. There you go. So I'm just glad that we had it right there. BB13, hello and hi. Let's say Williams, much love. And I think I'm going to kick things off with a little bit of an interesting little 30-second history lesson. Real quick shout out to Amazing Games, by the way, with a $5 holler.
He put 5 on it, and he's in first place opening the week once again. Much love to Amazing Games. What did the man say?
He said, "Go Cowboys,
Hell yeah.
Cap the Commandos."
Hell yeah. We got to cap the commies. You know?
Yeah, and by the way, kind of interesting how we're handling this week, since I know a lot of us had questions on, okay, how's McCarthy going to manage practices while still obviously practicing? We can't just sit there and kick our cleats up. So, yeah, anyway, that's what I'm saying. I know McCarthy touched on that. Can't wait to hear you explain it a little bit more, since I know I just saw kind of the overview. So, shout out again, Amazing Games. Much love. Glad we were able to touch base on that email there and get all that percolating.
Yes.
Brandon James, what's up? Eddie Logan in the house. Retro Scotty, much love. Yeah, maybe he's thinking about the wrong thing there, Kelsey, right? Asmodeus, hello and hi, representing. Kevin Bilbo in the house, what's up? Kind of rolling back a little bit. Stephen White, take it easy, have a great night. We have, who else? GM in the house. Mike Aldana representing. Andy and Boogie, hello and hi to you. Going back. Alonda Hanslu. William Burney, shout out to you as well. 434 Cowboy, always fuck Philly. I don't care what the score says. Freedom First, hey, look at you. You managed to be first. Dub right side said, just let Tyron Smith sit on the sideline and just lift as well as condition. Yeah, the one guy who gets a permanent vet day is Tyron Smith.
When it comes to practice, we know that's building. It's 2 weeks of this, and it's working out.
Yeah, he's on permanent walkthrough mode, right? So now the little history lesson I wanted to start with, baby, because it is relevant, right? It's called Luck of the King. It was kind of, and I know it's super random, but it was an old school belief that basically you had to have certain things in order to be a king in certain cultures, right? And part of that was luck, right? You could be from a noble bloodline and you could have basically on paper every single qualification. But if you were the unluckiest motherfucker to grace this planet, guess what? You weren't going to be the king, because kings had luck. Basically, God-given luck. And the one thing that really pisses me off is we're all saying it here after that stupid game tonight. The only thing that seems to separate us from Philly is luck, outside of, wins or whatever, because we seem to be more talented the way that we play certain games or do certain things, right? And yet somehow in every situation the Eagles find themselves in, they end up on the lucky side of it. So much as I hate to admit it, I'm just saying that, you do need luck. You can't just have it on paper and you can't just have it out there. You need a little bit of luck.
You also, I think, what the difference is to me? The luck is caused sometimes by the coaching. And the coaching, you got to give them credit. That might be the thing that puts them over the top because they know what to do. The players are on the same page as the coach, and it's all the time. Not sometimes, not against the good teams or the bad teams. That's what the Eagles have over us. But look, the Eagles did play tonight. I was going to save it for last, I guess, but I'll start it off with that.
Sorry, it's just that's kind of the thing that's got all of our bee in our bonnet right now. So
well, the fucking Eagles, fuck Philly. But today, of course, they played on Monday Night Football against the Kansas City Chiefs. Kelsey dropping passes, other guys dropping passes, receivers. The Chiefs had the game. The Eagles got lucky, but they won because they're the luckier team when it's two teams that aren't close in talent like us and them, like the Chiefs and them. So Jalen Hurts ran for 2 touchdowns. The go-ahead tush-push score in the fourth quarter came back, rallied from a 10 points down at halftime to beat the Chiefs 21-17 in the Super Bowl rematch tonight on Monday Night Football. The Eagles are now 9-1. And insisted all week they were not out for revenge in that 38-35 loss in the Super Bowl. But Nick Sirianni and the team obviously were hyped up for this game. They were ready for it, and they shut out Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in the second half. While Andy Reid, again, defeating Andy Reid for the first time for the Eagles in 5 games since he was fired by the Eagles and landed in Kansas City. This means for the NFC playoff picture, the Eagles are 9-1 with the bye right now. The Lions 8-2 would be second. The Niners winning the West would be third at 7-3, and the Saints would be fourth, winning the South at 5-5. The North will go to the Lions, of course, 8-2. But then the Cowboys be the 5th seed right now, which would be playing at Detroit, at the Detroit Lions at 7-3. The Seahawks are 6-4. We play them after Washington, and then the Vikings they're at 6-5, right behind them. Other teams in the hunt. All these teams are 4-6. The Green Bay Packers, the LA Rams, the Atlanta Falcons, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's your playoff picture currently right now in the NFL. And really a big jump between the Vikings at 6-5 and really the other teams there 4-6, all behind them. And we're safely ahead of everyone. It would be a colossal mess up for us to not make the playoffs. But can we try to move into that NFC East spot? It's going to be harder since the Eagles did win tonight.
And Calvin Richards, shout out to you with the $5 holler.
Calvin with that 5 on it in a tie with amazing games for first place. What did the man say?
Cowboys must win out to have any chance at the number 1 seed.
Pretty much.
But that's what I'm trying to say, Calvin. For whatever the reason, right? Mr. MCF thinks it's coaching. I just think at this point it is just plain dumb luck.
I mean, some is luck. I'm not saying, but the good coaching puts them in positions to have better luck.
I know, but we've always known that. That's my point. Do you think the Chiefs aren't being, coached into a position to be lucky? No, they just, you guys are kind of saying in the chat. I think I said it. Like, how the heck do so many top guys just drop the ball the way that they did tonight for the Chiefs? Like that's the type of shit that you get sent home walking from the stadium. You didn't even get to drive your car out of the stadium. Think about what you did. So it is
the game winner there for the Chiefs.
Exactly. Like, I wish it was as simple as the more talented team wins, or the better coach team wins, or the team that executes better wins. But sometimes you can do all those things, and it does not matter.
Well, usually it does. Yeah, they had very little yardage today, the Eagles, and still won. So it's frustrating.
And that's what I mean by, sometimes you do just have to get lucky.
But that's what I'm trying to say, though. The Eagles, luck, coaching, players, execution, whatever it may be, guess what? There are 2 games in front of us. And I just thought my brother, we started late tonight, guys, because family's in town. My brother mentioned to me that for the Cowboys, we'd have to actually beat the Eagles by a full game. So we're really down 3 games on the Eagles right now, just so you guys get the full picture of things, the reality of things here. The best, if we don't get the East, we are the 5th seed, which is where we would be right now. So just think about that's the way it's going to be for the Cowboys.
Yeah, the reality is we're no longer in the driver's seat of our own destiny. We're sitting in the passenger seat playing passenger princess to these fucking Eagles.
We get the Washington Commanders, then we get Seattle, right? And then the Eagles. We can win our games. We get the Eagles. We'll see what happens. But I'm just saying the Eagles also get the Bills and the Niners coming. I mean, the Niners and Eagles is really not a loss there. It's not a bad thing really either way. But we kind of want the Niners to win that game, even though we'd have to have them to lose some other time, the Niners, for us not to be, the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th seed in this situation. So a lot of things can still change. We're 2 games by record, 3 games back on the Eagles. I believe we'd have to see, the Eagles lose to the Bills next week. They get the Niners, they get us, They get Seattle after us, and then it's coasting, guys. And they get the Giants, Washington Giants. So I'm just saying for the Eagles, this is it. And they got past, part one. Why is this in this situation? Because we put ourselves in the situation. The Cowboys put themselves in this situation. We lost to the Cardinals. We still would have controlled things then. Exactly. If we lost to the Eagles in a close game, we could have controlled things then. But this is what we did.
Winning out is almost like the baseline, I guess. That's just the minimum thing we have to do, not even counting all the other things that we still have to do. So, anyway, I don't really want to talk about the Eagles that much anymore. Although, obviously, again, still highly relevant, still trying to stay in this mix. But either way, like you guys are saying, whether they do whatever it is that they do, we still have to do what we need to do, irrelevant of whatever is going on with them. So... Anyway, back to you, baby. Because like you said, there's more than just, the roasted birds. Yeah. Unfortunately, still waiting to be de-thawed, which, by the way, guys, start defrosting your turkeys. You should have started yesterday, but you still got time. Yeah. Start defrosting your eagles. I wish they were getting put in the spit today. But look, either way, moving on, NFL news. The NFL is suspending Broncos safety Kareem Jackson for 4 games. Now, this name may sound familiar because we talked about him about 5 weeks ago. When he was suspended, the same guy suspended for 4 games. He had a vicious hit on Joshua Dobbs for the Vikings quarterback right in the face. This guy's just leading with the crown of his helmet almost every time he hits someone in close proximity to them. Really bad technique.
I mean, it's just like he cares. It's something wrong with the way he plays. He does not know how to fix it. He just came back off a suspension a couple weeks ago. You remember, it was a 4-game suspension for him the first time. This is the second one like this for the season for him.
You would think someone can't be that stupid.
Well, it's got to be something technique, like you said, or just he doesn't realize. He's just old school way of thinking of the way he tackles, and he's got to fix it. So
Kareem Jackson, by the way, guys, for anyone who misses his name.
Kareem Jackson, defensive back safety from the Denver Broncos. Now, like last time, he appealed the 4-game suspension. He got it brought down to 2 games. So now he's got another 4 games, and he's going to. He already officially has. Is appealing this new 4-game suspension, but we'll see if the hearing officer is a former player, Derek Brooks from the Bucks, jointly appointed, and compensated by the NFL and NFLPA. We'll see what kind of answer he gives. But again, second time for this kind of situation. To me, they're getting the NFL's getting their 4 games no matter what. But he might with the players, with the NFLPA and NFL with Derek Brooks would he figure of maybe letting it stay to 3 or actually all 4? Because this is something that obviously is not stopping. So either way, we'll have to keep an eye on that and see how that continues for Kareem Jackson. I'm sure tomorrow we'll have an answer on that either way. Now, issues, injuries. Let's start with some things going on with the Chargers here. Pass rusher Joey Bosa. Carted off the field on Sunday. Was ruled out of that game. Today was diagnosed with a foot sprain and is going to go on injured reserve later this week. Obviously they're going to miss him for at least 4 more weeks, possibly more than that. If they make the playoffs, maybe he comes back for that. But Joey Bosa, he is now, ruled out. Well, obviously on IR. He's going to be on IR later this week. That means he's out for, 4 games at least. Now, former Ravens quarterback, Super Bowl MVP, Joe Flacco. Remember him? Signed with the Cleveland Browns practice squad today, guys. Expected that Flacco would get promoted to the active roster shortly. He will give the Browns a veteran added quarterback depth there behind, the injury to Deshaun Watson, season-ending shoulder surgery. Of course, it was a DTR. Is that his name there? The quarterback for the Browns. He played good. He got him a win against a good defense there against the Steelers. But Flacco is there just in case, a veteran backup, which is not a bad idea. When you have still question marks with DTR, who's still very young.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, and again, another quarterback switch off here. The Jets, they announced they're making a quarterback switch. Veteran Tim Boyle is going to start now, I think, Friday, this Black Friday game against the Bills there for Zach Wilson. I'm sorry, for the Dolphins, against the Dolphins. So, Jets now, no more Zach Wilson. Now it is veteran Tim Boyle, and he's going to, again, start this game against the Dolphins on Black Friday, the first ever Black Friday game on Amazon Prime TV. So
yeah, and by the way, I'm pretty sure that does put the final nail in the coffin for Zach Wilson.
Yeah, it's going to make him a perennial.
I'm just saying, like, they really tried to make it work with him this year, and it's clearly evident it wasn't working. So, by the way, shout out to Alonda Hanslu.
Hey.
Appreciate you, much love. Although, I don't know.
Why?
Look, at least your husband has a good taste in teams. I'll give you that. But she said,
what did she say?
Stephen A. Smith and Colin Cowherd both said that the Cowboys are overhyped and all the Cowboys do is beat bad teams.
Well, that is the MO right now.
I was going to say, now Stephen A. Smith and Colin Cowherd are both some Cowboy-hating asses. But even in this, there is a small kernel of truth, and let's be honest. We have not beaten the caliber of teams that the Eagles have currently at this point, that the Niners have
luck or no
at this
luck.
point. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter how that coin flip went. We need to go out there and beat the good teams in the same way that we've beaten some of these subpar, mediocre, average, shitty teams.
Agreed.
You know, like, take your pick.
We're still
doesn't
missing
matter.
that. Damn right.
Exactly. So to me, that, you know, that's why we've talked so much about, you know, the upcoming matchup against Seattle and then consequently the Eagles, in the sense of, well, Seattle, obviously you're not going to count them as one of the best teams, but they're definitely on the better side of better compared to some of the teams that we faced off against so far this season. So,
solid.
And the Eagles, of course, you know.
But let's not overlook. I know we're talking about the better teams, but even the shitty Commanders got to look at them real closely now. We got 3 days to figure them out.
Who did the Eagles lose to again?
The Jets.
The Jets.
The team we beat, by the way, by a lot.
So there you go.
Yeah. So anyways, back to this. Much love, Alonza, even though she's not. I know Alonza's not as a Cowboy fan, but she has a Cowboy husband. So that makes her a Cowboy fan by proxy there, right? Mrs. Hanslu there. So anyways, appreciate you. Mark's down to 68 points in the Stream Boss, and Alonda, Calvin, Amazing Games are all tied for first place currently on the overall board. Now, two last things here on the injury list side and NFL side of things. Mr. Harbaugh from the Ravens, head coach there, said this about Mark Andrews, a tight end who got his leg kind of snapped in that game last week. I think, was it Monday? Or was it? Yeah, it was a Monday game, I think. He said this, Harbaugh said this, quote, "My understanding is in talking to our trainer and the doctors that it wasn't as bad as initially feared. It was a little cleaner than they thought." And so he did say there's an outside chance. Harbaugh said there's an outside chance that Mark Andrews could return this year. I'm assuming it's playoff time possibly, but man, with that injury similar to Tony Pollard's, right? It wasn't as bad of a break as Tony Pollard. Still, it's going to be out for a couple months at least. Still can make it back at the end of the season if they are still in the running. I'm assuming in the playoffs. Finally,
a little surprising, but hey.
Yeah, very surprising. The last injury, which happened to the Niners, and it's a big one for them, guys, because Kyle Shanahan confirmed today that Talona Noah Hufanga, who's their, I'm pretty sure he's their safety, right? He's a safety for them there, a safety linebacker, that hybrid kind of position there. He tore his ACL in the win against Tampa Bay yesterday. So he is, of course, out for the year. It's a major loss for them. You know, they're going to find someone to replace him, I'm sure, somehow, some way. So, you know, like all these other teams got to do, you got to roll with the injuries. We've been knocking on wood here recently, a little bit better off on the injury side, although we have some new names on that list. We'll talk about that later as we prep and get that first look towards the Commanders. But baby, first let's take a first look at Jimmy Johnson being inducted to the Hall of Fame. Oh, to the Ring of Honor. I'm sorry, Hall of Fame. Jimmy Johnson being inducted to the Ring of Honor, or about to be. There. Yeah, exactly. Look, I do want to say something before you get your two. You know, you say what went down. There was a post-game conference or a pre-game conference with Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson. They quickly spoke about a couple of things about the Ring of Honor situation. We saw it yesterday before the game and talked about it. But I want to say about something that Michael Irvin said this morning, reacting to Jimmy Johnson being inducted, or going to be inducted into the Dallas Cowboys Ring of Honor. He said, quote, "I'm so happy. I truly understand what this means for Coach Jimmy Johnson." So Jimmy Johnson getting what he deserved years and years ago. It's happening in December 30th, you know, with the Detroit Lions come visiting the Dallas Cowboys. I think that's a nationally televised game as well. So, baby, what was said today, or yesterday, I guess you could say, between Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones when it came to the upcoming induction of by Jerry Jones, getting his old coach that got mainly three, but two Super Bowls with our Dallas Cowboys, kicking off from those 1-15 seasons.
So before Jimmy even knew that this was actually going to happen, Jerry, typical Jerry fashion, right? He just kind of called him up and said, "Oh, hey, we got to get together." You know, and Jimmy's like, "All right, fine, let's do it." Like, not even hinting on what was actually happening, not even saying anything. But that was literally it. After that, they started discussing what actually was going to go down later on. Jerry Jones's reasoning for not having done it earlier, because if you guys remember, when it was announced, I kind of wondered, Didn't Jerry say something about this, guys? It was in like
Yeah,
2021.
Yeah, it was the Hall of Fame game. Hall of Fame game.
Yeah, I'm gonna totally put Jerry in the Ring of Honor.
Micah Parsons' first game ever with the Cowboys, and it was a Hall of Fame game with Pittsburgh and the Cowboys. And it was that bonus game you get early August. That was the game where Jerry Jones was brought on to the Fox crew there and told Jimmy Johnson he's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, but they don't have a date yet into the Ring of Honor. So not Hall of Fame, but into the Cowboys Ring of Honor. So it didn't have a date yet. They'll get figured out and talking about it. And then you see other guys going in there before him. You seen DeMarcus Ware going in there. Was it DeMarcus Lawrence? You see so now he said he's going to go in there in the year 1923. I'm sorry, 2023.
Yeah, so...
You get it?
Oh, I did. It took me a second to catch that. But Jerry Jones said, I wanted to do it this year. I feel like the time is now. Jimmy Johnson with the freaking comment of the night. He said, it's also the time now because I'm still alive.
Oh, shit.
I feel that.
I feel that Jimmy was like thinking this the whole time. You trying to let me die here before you put me up there?
Right? It's going to be a posthumous induction. Anyway, adding in there, Jimmy did say, he couldn't have been nicer. We rehashed some things, talked about great memories and stuff for about 4 hours. We both said the biggest problem we ever had was just we stopped communicating. Said we should have had this talk 20 years ago.
Damn right.
So, obviously, there were things about over the past 30 years I said he was very sensitive about and things that he said back and forth. We kind of hashed them out. Then he brought a camera crew in there and said, I want to put you in the Ring of Honor. So, again, it wasn't like Jimmy somehow knew and, like, that's what they went to discuss or whatever. Jerry just called him up and said, oh, hey, we got to talk. And Jimmy's like,
yeah, but Jerry's using that moment to spruce up things in Cowboyville. You know what I'm saying? It's a Jerry Jones clown show. But, again, it's a well-deserved situation for Jimmy Johnson. But, we might not be able to overtake the Eagles or the Niners this year, but... Clown show, you know what I'm saying? He said himself he's going to do these kind of things. If things get down or dry or boring, he'll spruce things up. And, hey, what better way than with Jimmy Johnson?
So, and of course, during that whole discussion when Jerry was talking about the NFL Hall of Fame or whatever, and he was asked about the Ring of Honor, and he said, I've got a couple coaches in addition to Jimmy that ought to be in there. So, and everyone kept saying, okay, but none of those people... gave you Super Bowls, Jerry. So, anyway, Jimmy Johnson added in there. I think everyone's happy about it. Jerry's happy. His family's happy. They said he's so happy to do this and get it behind him. It's been a thorn in their side for years.
Yep.
So, again, love that Jimmy is speaking the truth here, saying exactly what we all knew. It bothered Jerry to have to constantly hear about Jimmy Johnson and whether or not he was in the Ring of Honor or not.
If you've seen the tour we went at the Star... There's barely any Jimmy Johnson there, and you can see it. You can hear it in Jerry's voice. You can see it when you're at any Cowboy facility. You see the deletion of Jimmy Johnson there, and it's obvious. It sticks out. So everybody knew it. Jerry just made it like something that already was obviously known, official, I guess, through his side.
And Jerry said it. Quote, I got tired of people saying, oh, you ought to be in the Ring of Honor. They should have done it years ago, answering the question, hey, why aren't you in it? Right? It's like... Howie Long said, you can't tell the story of the NFL or the Cowboys without telling the story of Jimmy and Jerry in Dallas. He said it has to be done. Which, again, he's not wrong.
They should have the discussion 30 years ago so they wouldn't break ways and could win a couple more Super Bowls.
So, and of course, I think the kind of cuter part and the cuter way to end things, Jimmy Johnson was asked if he had one more, how about them Cowboys in him? For, obviously, his induction into the Ring of Honor, right? He said, I'm sure I do. So.
It's coming.
Obviously, a slightly contentious relationship seems to come to a nice little resolution here. Right? Seems like everybody's happy.
Well,
if I were Jimmy, I would respectfully refuse the offer, said Asmodeus. Now, here's the thing, though, Asmodeus. I know Jimmy joked about how much it bothered Jerry to have to constantly hear about it. And Jimmy does a good job of being chill and playing things off well, but yeah, it bothered Jimmy too. Jimmy also wanted to be in the Ring of Honor. So this is a mutually agreed upon decision here, right? So it sounds like Jerry always wanted Jimmy in there. He was just too bothered and petty to do it until he felt like it was the right time. And Jimmy also to put credit where credit's due, right? Also bothered, also a little bit petty, and just was not going to be the first one to crack and say, hey, put me in there. Yeah. Hey, do this for me.
He's not going to beg for it. That's for damn sure.
So, and I'm being real, because obviously we're talking about two men with very, very, very big egos.
Yeah.
Although obviously we feel one of those maybe has a little more justification for being that big. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm just glad that it sounds like this is now water under the bridge. And once he is officially inducted into the Ring of Honor, hopefully that means that the only curse we have to worry about is J-Ron. Okay?
That's a good one.
That's how I want. That's how I want things here in Dallas.
If that's what it takes, then let's do it. I don't believe in curses, but the Cowboys made this thing happen.
And
let's get rid of Rowdy next.
It's 20-something, almost 30 years of built-up pettiness from that moment. It's not like that all necessarily goes away, which is why it's important that they talked for as long as they did and hashed it out. So, exactly. Makes, Jimmy looks desperate. Then Jerry, again, looks weak in his mind because doing that to Jimmy before he was ready basically means acknowledging that he couldn't have won those Super Bowls without him. So
that's
petty. That's petty all the way around. Back to you, my love.
No, that's it. That's the
get rid of Rowdy next.
That's what I said. I said get rid of Rowdy next, man. That's it. That's what we need to get rid of.
Yeah, Retro said just like Jimmy and Jerry mutually agreed to part ways in the '94 offseason again.
Yeah, they should have talked before then.
Obviously, I'm assuming it was maybe slightly more Jerry's ideas than Jimmy's, but it was a mutually agreed upon decision. He didn't get fired, and Jimmy didn't just quit. It was agreed upon together.
I agree, but we know it was the egos, and it was the main thing is, maybe Jimmy Johnson's like, don't try to take my GM spot. Don't try to take all the credit from this. I don't care if you want to get credit. I don't think Jimmy was asking for more credit. It sounded like Jerry wanted to get most of the credit, and I think that's what the egos then got bumping heads.
We still don't quite know what it is that Jimmy was asking for back then. And like I said, you can make an educated guess. You have a few ideas. But at the end of the day, we don't 100% know. Whatever it was, though, clearly ticked off the Jerry Jones box. Anyway.
Yeah. Look, let me also do a shout-out, baby.
Of course.
Jason Renfro dropping a $1.74 holla in the house. Much love to Mr. Jason Renfro and that Go Cowboys. And another $2 holler by Jason Renfro to follow that Cash App drop. Here in the chat, baby, in the super chat. What did the man say?
Well, he said more in the Cash App. But I think he also wanted to mention, how about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys? That's perfect timing for
I think in honor of Jimmy Johnson, at least for the rest of this upcoming week, instead of a Go Cowboys, we should do a
How about them Cowboys? Hey, I should play that every single time. As when things drop, I should drop. And then YouTube will say, no, copyright. Let's not take any chances. Yeah. So much love, Jason. Appreciate you. And Jason is, I think, he's in first place here by droplets. That doesn't sound right. But by some change right there, some loose change. He just jumped everybody for first place on this overall board tonight. Family.
So, no, you're good. Montana is like, get rid of Rowdy, bring in a real cowboy. Ancestral roots of real cowboys. Have y'all seen Harder They Fall?
I know he's talking about.
I think Mr. MCF knows a little more than I do.
I know he's talking about.
No offense, so when I think of a real cowboy, don't make fun of me, but the first thing that pops in my mind is Blazing Saddles.
Well, I know
which is highly inaccurate, but
yeah,
kind of funny.
Now I will say that I know what Montana's talking about. Look, I know there's cowboys of all races. I know gauchos and vaqueros. That was like the original, I guess, cowboys. I think. Yeah. I know Montana says it's the black people or the first cowboys. Either way, guess what? A lot of cowboys, a lot of different races, and in the end, how about them Cowboys? That's what I'm talking about. I don't care about the race. I know it's family. That's what it's about here. We all rep that for this NFL thing. We rep that cowboy star over everything. That navy blue, silver too. Those are the colors we rep. And we all do that. All of us do it.
And hey, you guys are bringing it up, right? Let me go ahead and hit up the chat real quick. Retro Scotty said maybe Jimmy can pass along trade secrets, win out from here on out. Mike Aldana said, y'all complain about the Jimmy Johnson curse. Jimmy gets it now, and then you want him to refuse the honor?
Well, that was Asmodeus said that. I'm more of like, they both, like, I'm with you, but I think they both want it.
The spell will be broken when Jerry Jones is no longer GM. See, that's just my opinion.
That's not a curse. That's the facts. There's no curses here. Yeah, but Jerry Jones holding on to that is what's what's the foundational issue with this fucking team?
I know, but trying to get Jerry to move on from the GM position, it feels like the final boss in a Dark Souls game. Just saying.
I love your metaphors.
Oh, shout out, by the way, Amazing Games.
Amazing Games here, who now is at the top of the board. First place, while Marco Sepping's at 61 points in the Stream Boss. Mr. Amazing Games jumps over Jason Renfro for first place.
So
what did the man say? I'm sorry. What Amazing Games have to say?
Yeah, he said, my MCF.
Hell yeah.
Jimmy deserves respect.
Shit, know it.
And after all the back and forth, you know, you can say lots of things about Jimmy, but he was a pretty class act, actually, when it came to a lot of this back and forth.
Yeah.
Jerry definitely stoked the flames.
Seems like he's more responsible
more.
there.
So it's just, that's why his comment of, you know, hey, I'm glad you did it before I was dead.
I love it.
Oh, that was a good one. By the way, Hannibal King 47, shout out to you.
Hey.
I appreciate you with a $10
holler.
$10
holler. The drop of the night, and a couple things, too. Mark goes to 51 points, and Hannibal goes in a tie with Amazing Games in first place on the overall board. What did Hannibal King say, baby?
Them Chiefs let me down, man. Oh, not just
I was not happy
King.
about it.
Unfortunately, the thing that bothers me more, almost more than the stupid Eagles, you know, beating the Chiefs, it's more about what this means for the NFL as a whole, right? The Eagles are now undeniably, unequivocally,
record-wise,
the best team in the NFL.
Record-wise, for
not
sure.
just record-wise, because if you sit there and ask people, I'm willing to bet you that a good chunk of them would probably say that the Eagles, but for a variety of reasons, are currently the best team in the NFL. Now, are they maybe on paper, in actuality, in talent? I don't know. But guess what? They're doing what number one teams in the NFL are supposed to do, which is win games.
Yeah, well.
Against good teams, against bad teams, against any team.
Doing it
You
against
put them in
good
front of
teams
them,
right
they're
now.
going to beat you.
Yeah.
And that's what they're showing right now in a way that no other team in the NFL has been able to.
Yeah.
So,
well, we'll see. Again, I hate the fact that
we
have to.
could have a different discussion over that.
Hannibal, the thing that bothers me, the only thing that bothers me is that we allowed this to get to this point. We allowed the season to be put into the hands of the Eagles, not in our hands. Cowboys did that. You know, in the end, we did the team did this to themselves. So that's my issue there. I know we wanted the Chiefs to win, but when they lose, I was watching. I didn't like that they won, but that the Eagles won. But I look back and say, well, this is what the Cowboys did to themselves, right? And it's not. I can't sit here and blame the Chiefs. You know, I'm saying it sucks. They couldn't come through, and I get pissed at the Chiefs for not winning. But in the end, why are we here? Cowboys. We lost that close one to the Eagles. We lost that fucking game to the damn Cardinals. The Niners got blown out. I mean, that's the reason why we're here. The Eagles, they won their close games against the good teams. And, you know, that's a difference maker. Obviously, it's a 2-game difference maker. Doesn't seem like that much, but 2 games is a lot right now between us and the Eagles. I know we're 2 games back, but we're 3 games back to overtake them in the
and
East.
Montana, by that same logic, the Eagles also haven't been playing good football. But that's irrelevant. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter if they went out there and every single drive they started going backwards. If they're still winning games and consistently beating the teams that they need to beat more than anything.
The thing I'll say is this. You know how we did this, right? You know, when we beat some teams last year, it seemed like we were just, you know, we're going to be this best team. We get to the playoffs against a better team, and we lose. I think the Eagles are going to I agree with Montana. I think the Eagles will get to the playoffs, and they're going to lose a game in the playoffs. I don't think they'll get to the Super Bowl, but it depends. You know, I think when you get to the better teams, those close games, they're not going to always go your way. You're not going to always outluck the other team, even with their scheme and their coaching and whatever it may be that's working. If you get in too many close games, eventually they're going to bite you. And in the playoffs, it gets tougher. The playoffs, the Eagles will have their issues there. They're going to have issues with teams like us, teams like the Niners. I don't know about the Lions yet, but the Cowboys and Niners are going to give the Eagles trouble. And I think either team can beat the Eagles in the playoffs. I think both of us and the Niners, can and will beat the Eagles in the playoffs if we get to that point. We got to get there first. The Eagles will be waiting for us.
Exactly.
So that's what it's shaping up to. Anyway, I don't know if we had any other comments, but Hannibal King, Amazing Games in first place right now, tied at the top spot. Jason Renfro there in third, and then the rest of the crew there, fourth place ties. All the way down to fifth, sixth place there, guys. So appreciate everybody. And is that everything? The last comments and thoughts on the Jerry Jones, Jimmy Johnson saga? Mm-hmm. Let's get into some football now here, guys, and our Cowboys. When it comes to this game that we just played against these Carolina Panthers, you see the score at the bottom of your screen. 33-10, Cowboys destroyed the Panthers. Let's talk about a little more details here, though. So the Cowboys have currently 6 wins of 20 points or more to the first 10 games of the season, guys. 6 out of our 10 wins, or 6 out of 10 games, we've won by 20 or more points. This is an incredible number. The last time the Cowboys did that, in an entire season, 1978 was the last time we did that. We got 6 wins in an entire 14 to 16 game football season. Right now we're at 10 games. The season record for the Cowboys is 7 wins by 20 points or more in a season. It was done in 1968. This is a tough one to break. The Cowboys are on the cusp of tying it. And we have a lot of games still left. So a good chance we can play, again, I don't know if we're going to do that to a good team, but against a crappy team, there's a good chance that can definitely happen. So keep an eye on that. By the way, I just saw it drop here. It didn't make a sound, but I heard it. Jason Renfro gifting a membership to the man, Burn Bar, getting that lucky drop there. Congrats to Burn, and much love to Jason Renfro.
Thank you, Jason, of course. And shout out to you, Burn Bar. I know you're the favorite flute player among these parts. But no, seriously, thank you, Burn Bar. Shout out to you, Jason.
Yeah, Burn, put the exclamation flute out there if you want to see what it says. And much love to Jason Renfro, who, by the way, now the gifting leader, Cash App leader, and overall leader in the house. Much love to him. He's having a little takeover going on. Let me update the board, baby, and hit a comment or two in the chat.
Yeah, of course. So Matt Persico saying definitely going to be a Super Bowl rematch. Swift versus Swift and brother versus brother. I wouldn't be surprised if Taylor Swift even performs the halftime show.
Can't do it now.
Yeah, I was going to say, I believe Usher already gets that distinction.
Yeah.
So I guess she could make like some kind of guest appearance. That seems relatively hard. Also, I don't think her and Usher have ever collaborated on anything.
Yeah, but the point is that maybe if you want to say maybe in a couple of years that may happen, especially if they're still together. But yeah, I mean, I guess maybe in a future situation it could happen. But also, you're assuming the Eagles and the Chiefs are going to get there. The answer is hell no. No, not going to happen.
Hey, one thing at a time, right? So. Let me see. Wilson Santiago said, the loss to Philly at this point, Cowboys won't get the first seed. So, again, if we want even a hope of getting it, like you guys are kind of saying earlier, first things first, we have to win out. We can worry about everything else after that, but if we don't win out, then you're right. We're 1,000% not getting it, and we don't deserve to get it at that point.
We didn't earn it. We let it run in the hands of referees and our opponents that we have to hope they lose, hope the Niners lose, hope the Eagles lose. You know who's not losing? Jason Renfro. You know why? Because the man dropped another dollar holler in the Cash App and a Go Cowboys. Much love to the man, Jason Renfro in the house, repping that star over everything. Trying to get that 6 and beyond. Let's go. Appreciate you, Jason. Now, so I was saying, baby, the 33-10 win, which is, again, 23-point victory. The last time this was done when we were at 7, at the time we won 6 games by 20 or more points was 1978. The record for the team is 7 wins like this. And the last time that was done in 1968. That's the only time that was done. So if we get 2 more wins by 20 points or more, at least that's a tough record to break, I guess. But, hey, that's an expected damn good season. That we should be playing not just well against bad teams, we should be playing well in the playoffs. That's still yet to be seen. Now, I'll say this. One last thing about this little topic before we get to Mike McCarthy. But a criticism of the Cowboys when Jason Garrett was our head coach was a tendency to play kind of down to the level of your worst competition. That was
exactly. Play the 32nd team in the league. Guess what? You're going to look like the 31st because you're playing them.
And how many times did that happen under Garrett?
Too many damn times.
But with McCarthy, it's not happening. Cowboys have 6 wins by 20 or plus points. That's tied for the most by any NFL team, by the way, through the first 10 games of a season. The team in 2007 Patriots in the NFL had 8 of these. Remember, they were an undefeated team. They lost in the Super Bowl, but my point is, the Patriots had 8 of these. We're right now at 6. Our record is 7. The NFL record is 8. So every single one of these teams that I'm talking about in these years, 68, 78, I think it was a Super Bowl season for us, Super Bowl winning season. The Patriots, of course, lost in the Super Bowl, but this is Super Bowl type teams when you're blowing teams out like this, even the bad ones. So I'm hoping that we can get our shit together on track and beat the better teams when it counts. Just gonna leave it at that. I know we destroyed the Panthers, but let's try to destroy the way the Niners, the way the Niners destroyed us a couple weeks ago, last month. You know what I mean? So, anyways, look, before McCarthy, I know McCarthy. Did he speak after the game?
He had a little comment there about Bland that I'm gonna save for when we actually hear Bland talking.
Okay, so
and hear from him.
So let me bring up an important point about McCarthy. And again, we always touch on his scheme situations, right? Like the way that McCarthy kind of has been changing things since the bye week, since week 7 bye after the Chargers, through weeks 1 through 6, the Cowboys ranked 16th in motion at the snap. This is a big thing I've been saying for years. We should be doing more motion to help out your quarterback. So our motion and shift rate was 16th. We're dead in the middle average of the NFL. We did it about 54% of the time. We were also 25th in the 3 receivers on one side and 1 receiver on the other side.
Yeah.
We used that the first 6 weeks of the season. 25th most in the league. That's horrible. Again, it don't work for you, but we did it about 32.2% of the time. And when it comes to empty formation, that means no running back, 5, sometimes 6 maybe options of receivers out there on the lining up as receivers. The Cowboys, or I guess you can't say 5, but at least 4 guys lining up as receivers. The Cowboys were 26th in empty formation rate. We only did it 6.6% of the time. So when you look at that and add in their bunch formations, 3 guys, 3 receivers tight together at one side of the field, on the other side of the offensive line, we were 25th in doing bunch formations. We only did it 31% of the time. But since that week 7 bye, weeks 8, 9, 10, and 11, Cowboys rank 11th in motion and shift rate. That's 60% of the time we're doing it now instead of 53%. We were 19th. Now we're 19th in 3-by-1 formation rate. We're doing it 39% of the time. That is a jump by about 6% what we were doing before. We're first in empty formation rate, guys. We're doing it 14% of the time. We were doing it 6.6% the first half of the season. And we're 13th when we bunch our receivers. When we have bunch formation. We're doing it 40.3% of the time. That is a jump from 25th. So I'm just saying, guys, you can see the real differences in this offense since the bye week. Things that I've been, you go back to the bye week, I was screaming we need to do not just these things, but also this is when the offense has to find itself, because this is the last chance to save this constipated conservative offense that we had. Amazing games with that $2 holler, dropping that 1-2. Jay Lou, what did the man say as he goes into into second place all by himself?
He said, my MCF, 26 Bland, my guy.
Hell yeah.
Go Cowboys.
Hell yeah. Go Cowboys. And Bland's been blowing it up, guys, out there. We're going to go into details on him a little bit later in the show as we get to the defensive side of things.
I think
fantastic stuff, though.
I think the guys that are, quote-unquote, hitting it now, outside of, like, our major starters on offense or defense, doesn't matter. Again, no one really wants to talk about the fact that, we have guys like Bland, just like basically we had them chilling there on the side, not on the sidelines so much, but, behind the scenes. And now that he stepped up into that, number 1 kind of corner spot, he has really grown into that. And hey, we went through some growing pains because he definitely did not start off. Look, I'm just saying, like we had a few rough games there for a little bit defensively as we still kind of figured out our situation with the injuries, right? And Bland continued to impress and perform.
We're talking about Trayvon Diggs, right?
I'm talking about the Diggs injury, but I'm talking about Deron Bland, the player.
No, I know. I'm talking about Jordan Lewis last year, but he came in there, and Deron Bland's come in and basically took this place by storm. He's had some downs when he came in there the first quarter against the Cardinals, but outside of that, the man has played a fantastic, stellar season.
Thank you for saying what I just said.
Well, you kind of were saying like he was kind of having some struggles for a quarter.
The defense had.
Well, yeah. Deron Bland.
Defense had struggles.
Deron Bland had the biggest struggle in in that game against the Cardinals for a quarter. But outside of that, Deron Bland himself has been stellar, even with the defensive struggles that have been surrounding him at times. Bland has really only allowed, I think, a touchdown to the Eagles last. We played the Eagles. He had that one, Devontae Smith. He let slide by. Outside of that, he shut everyone down. And he shut Devontae Adams.
Which, again,
Devontae Smith down as well.
Unfortunate, just because out of all the teams to allow a touchdown to, just happened to be the Eagles.
Yeah. That is painful. Extra painful.
Hannibal King, much love with a $5 holler. You know what he had to say?
Hit me with it.
Did not see enough Rico and wanted to see more 83, Jalen Brooks, for this very reason. Injury depth. And to keep our best players fresh for the playoffs, i.e. Pollard and Lamb. So
hit that, baby. What do you think? I have an answer
Rico
for that.
was technically one of those banged up guys, although, it was kind of confirmed that it was whatever was going on was super minor and that they were erring on the side of caution, especially after the whole, Bengals didn't put Joe Burrow on the injury report.
Yeah.
So, sounds like we were just playing it safe, but I imagine that that's the bigger reason why we didn't see as much Rico as maybe we wanted to. Minor or not, McCarthy was not trying to run him into the ground there. Jalen Brooks, the only thing I can say is that yesterday was Tolbert's day. Whatever the scheme was, whatever McCarthy had going on.
Call for more Tolbert.
It seems like Tolbert was the guy that they wanted to see more from. So hopefully that means that we maybe see a little more Brooks against the Commanders.
Well, maybe. I think what it depends on, and this is what I think that people, like we saw him come in the Giants game, Brooks, and I don't know if he had a special kind of scenario for why they brought him in against the Giants, but this game was definitely more about him for the blocking for CeeDee Lamb on one play.
Yeah.
And what I think it is it's more if the Cowboys were up by more, then you would see more of these guys. And not really Rico. I think Rico was on managed time with the injury, with the ankle. Even if it was a minor thing, why not keep him healthier for the Washington game? And I think that's what the Cowboys try to do with him. But I think Pollard and Lamb, I agree. We'll find those guys that can help him out. We know Rico's the backup. We know Rico's going to be that guy's going to have to do that role. We're not going to go out and get anybody else. Even if we don't have to try out Rico for that, we know that. And Jalen Brooks, of course, a question mark, but he's our sixth guy. We have Tolbert and Turpin in front of him. So to me, Brooks showed a lot already, very good stuff as being a sixth guy. That's about where we're going to need him to be. I don't think he's going to be expected to come in there and replace CeeDee Lamb. You just can't do that. There's nobody on our team that's going to be able to do that. So, and we're going to talk about CeeDee Lamb today, about a tweak he had, and we saw it happen, and we complained about this yesterday during the game, and I said, you don't blow out teams early. You don't play well early, which we did not do. People forget it was 17-10 in the fourth quarter. You don't play well in a game, you're just looking for an injury. You're looking for an injury. I'm not saying on purpose, obviously, but your chances go way up as the game continues. You get fatigued, and you get hurt sometimes. And yeah, let's just keep it there. But anyway, great comment there, Hannibal. Who, by the way, takes Mark Hovsepian down to that old Robert Newhouse, 44 points on the Stream Boss, and also in first place on the overall board, jumping over Jason, jumping over Amazing Games. Oh, now you got Hannibal King running things on the top spot. But I'm not done with McCarthy, because Mike McCarthy, guys. And the Cowboys, I'll tell you some statistics on how these things have changed for the Cowboys in the first half to the second half of the season so far that we've played. But Mike McCarthy and the rest of the Cowboys' offensive coaching staff, it's important you guys realize he's doing a much better job. All of them, Mike McCarthy and the coaches, much better job of taking advantage of the edges that can be created by manipulating when you manipulate the alignment, moving guys in motion. When you do that pre-snap and at the snap, it's going to help the offense. When you had it the other way, guys, the first 6 weeks, we were static on offense. No movement. Basic looks that have been, again, used currently a lot less frequent. Back then, they were used a lot more. Now we're using them a lot. The stale looks, the conservative look, a lot less right now. We're still using it, but not as much. And by moving stuff around and players around, you're making Dak Prescott and this offense a lot better. You're making Dak's life easier. The offense has taken off because of these tweaks by McCarthy. And that's the key here. I know Dak put his 2 cents in it too, but it's important that the McCarthy and the coaches on offense, and that's why I keep screaming, coaches. It's not that Dak doesn't make mistakes sometimes. The coaches need to do things better to help your quarterback. I don't care if you're damn Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, or Dak Prescott, or Joe Schmo from Idaho. I don't care. The Cowboys have been especially lethal when we use empty formations. We more than doubled this. We were at 6.5%. We're at almost 15% using empty sets. No running back in the backfield. We ranked fourth. Again, when we use these empty formations, we rank fourth in successful play rate and third in EPA per play when you use the empty set look on offense. So, yeah, McCarthy has done a lot more than some people may realize, more than some of the fans realize. Along with Dak and the offense, we blame Dak too, but it's the offense. We know Dak. I know that Dak can do this. It's got to be the coaching that's got to match it. And so we're seeing that finally take off, at least on offense. And that's not just against good teams. Panthers are a good pass defense. The stuff was still kind of working out there. Maybe not as good as other times and other teams with less pass defense, like the Eagles, even though they're a better team. But you can see how the Cowboys really were able to attack using these concepts and formations and bunch formations and 3-and-1. All that stuff is so important and vital to have a non-stale, a non-static offensive kind of play calling and movement on the offense. Anyways, I digress. We got the man, Amazing Games, dropping that $10 Cooper Rush holler. And now he's in first place on the overall board. Marco Seppian.
Take over. Do you know what he said?
I know that Marco Seppian went to 34 points. What did the man Amazing Games have to say?
Amy MCF, time for CEEDEE to show his speedy. So, yeah, the CeeDee Lamb speed obviously is going to be a huge factor. Again, I am still very much of the mindset, thought process camp. However you want to put it, that CeeDee Lamb was purposely just not targeted as much, not schemed for specifically as much in this game. Not saying we didn't target him at all or scheme for him at all, just saying that the majority of that effort definitely went in a different direction. So,
yeah, I definitely see CeeDee Lamb.
Take it easy, Montana to wasting. I'll see y'all Thursday. I got to get some sleep. Got a few cars to fix tomorrow. Later, MCF, MCW.
Much love, Mr. Chuck to Montana, 808 in the house. Appreciate you, as always, dropping that knowledge in the house. So, we'll definitely see you Thursday or earlier for our Cowboy game, of course. So, so again, just wanted to finish up. I hope I made my points here, is that all these things, guys, the motion, 3-by-1 formation rates, empty formation, which is major here, bunch formation for the receivers. I'm telling you, when you use this, we've doubled a lot of these or gone up, 5-10 percentage points of how often we do it now compared to the first 6 weeks. And on the offense, win or lose, against good or bad defenses, we still look better as an offense no matter how you slice it. So that's huge improvements, and they so far are not going away. If one day we see a week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 offense, I'm going to tell you about it. I'm going to say, oh, that looks like week 1 when we played some real shitty conservative offensive kind of formations. Anyways, let's talk about some of the guys on this team after this game. I know McCarthy spoke after the game. Oh, that's right. It was Deron Bland. So let me go right into the offense then, because the highest graded Cowboys on offense, led by, again, Mike McCarthy's offensive play calling, and his installation is his. So it's his offense, in my opinion. Not as much Schottenheimer's or those other guys. As McCarthy, number 1. Schottenheimer 2. Blasco in there in the mix, the running backs coach, and Solari, the offensive line coach, as well as Dak. These are the guys that help it, but Mike McCarthy's at the head of this thing. So this offense, and his pick, Luke Schoonmaker, was the highest graded PFF guy in our team. Now, he didn't have much doing out there. Mostly was blocking, but he had that nice, big, long touchdown. I guess you could say a 20-yard touchdown there. So congrats to him for that. Second touchdown of the year for the rookie. But he was our highest graded offensive player against Carolina. Tyron Smith was number 2. Dak Prescott was number 3. Tyler Smith was number 4. And Michael Gallup in the mix, number 5 here. But the offense didn't do much yesterday. Let's be honest. The offense did enough to help get 33 points, or at least take away 7 from that, because that was a pick 6. So the offense got a lot of these points on the board themselves, but you expect just to be able to score into the 30s just on the offense. Well, this game was meant for more on the ground, like I said. The passing yards were not all there, but even with all of that, baby, guess what? Dak Prescott, yes, our guy Dak only had like 186 yards or whatever it was. Dak Prescott is now PFF's highest graded quarterback this entire year. And you add all the quarterbacks, the grading system they use, an 89.4. Dak is a cunt hair away from elite numbers there.
I'm assuming a good chunk of that on the other side of things, too, is just, again, when you play clean football and you're not throwing picks left, right, and willy-nilly or whatever, just saying that is a huge, huge, huge boost. Because this time last year, you can bet your ass Kellen Moore would not have only 5 interceptions attributed even tangentially to him or his scheme or something.
Yeah, I mean,
from a decision standpoint, right? Not like, look, we all can call out when Dak fucks up or Dak messes up, and he is the reason something goes down the way that it did.
And listen, I'm being honest too about this. Dak Prescott, when he's, going back there and, just taking what's given to him, getting the flow of this new offense with the non-static, we're over there in motion, doing all these things. This helps Dak Prescott. It helps him be much more efficient. Could he have been better? Sure. Is this a good defensive when it comes to the pass defense? Yes, they're fourth best for a reason, and to keep your yards low. The zone formation really fucked with Dak, I think, and McCarthy in this offense. The way the players were running into the zone, almost like they knew we were going to do that. But there's some changes that were made by Dak at the line. There were some changes that were made by McCarthy, and things got a little cleaner. But Dak played cleaner, especially in the second half. So what I'm trying to say is this, guys, Dak Prescott did exactly. This is what I'm trying to say to people. This is exactly what you need to do. You got to run that ball. Focus on the run more a little bit, even if you don't get the big yards. They played out of their mind stopping the run. I will say we still got our scores through the air, most of them there, 2 of them. And Dak Prescott was very efficient in my humble opinion against the Panthers yesterday against a very good 4th-ranked pass defense. And that includes the pass rush and the coverage, even though their coverage was lacking. They had one less guy at the starting spot than they did last week, and so they suffered there. We were able to do a lot we wanted to do there, even with their pass rush affecting us sometimes. It did affect us a couple of times. So I'll get into that a little bit more. But I do want to say that, Dak Prescott also spoke after the game. Kind of had his, 2 cents there about what happened, I guess. And, I'll pass it over to you, babe. I know Dak spoke, so it's, you got the quotes of Dak.
Again, Dak.
Rain Dakota Prescott.
Oh, I know. Again, Dak spoke about Bland. That's why I had told you that. But it's okay.
No, if it's just Bland, then that's fine. Then
no, it's all right. We'll go ahead and
save the Bland for later then. The Bland
what Dak
comment.
said. So Dak threw out there as far as the game yesterday, got the job done. To say it was clean and to say that we did exactly what we wanted to do, I can't say that. We've got to go look at the film. But you'll take the win any way you can get it. It was a good win. We've got to heighten the focus a little bit, I know, on our side of the ball. Agreed with
Dak on that one. Still not as good as we can play on offense and defense as well. But yes, just heighten awareness, more focus. I agree 1,000% with him.
But yeah, that was pretty much everything he said.
Okay, outside of the Bland comment. Save the Bland comment. We got Bland coming up here in a minute. But I do want to say that I see on my side.
I did want to hear, kind of since I know the McCarthy comment is also Bland related, McCarthy kind of made a post-game joke saying that the reason that Dak and CeeDee didn't have as big numbers is because the equipment managers ran out of footballs from all the records that both these guys were setting. So I figured we could all appreciate that.
Get a chuckle out of that one. Yeah.
So.
Hell yeah. No, again, Dak, that's all I needed to say. He'll talk about Bland in a minute. But you know who else spoke? I mean, not spoke, but you know who else kind of showed up there? And I don't think he did speak, but it was Mr. CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb had some interesting numbers yesterday. Again, not continuing that streak of 10 catches or more, 150 yards or more. Yesterday he had 6 catches for only 38 yards from CeeDee Lamb. But he has surpassed the 1,000-yard mark. And he did it in 10 games. It's averaging basically over 100 yards a game. He's on pace to blow past his previous career high, 1,359 yards. He did that last year, so he's going to break that. Basically, if he gets another 300 yards, he's got it. Well, I guess 350
even
yards,
including this subpar game, statistically speaking, he's going to have that done in the next 2-3 weeks.
Yeah. Should be 3 weeks he should pass it. It's his 3rd consecutive 1,000-yard season. He fell only 65 yards short as a rookie. Would have made this the 4th consecutive and done it every single year of his career. His current 14.3 yards per catch this year is a career high so far, of course, so that could go up and down. But right now, 14.3 yards per catch, that's his best ever as well. So CeeDee having a true fantastic. I mean, one of the best years you can have as a receiver, especially on your contract year. I said, please be careful. What are you going to do with Diggs? You're going to do it with CeeDee Lamb. You got to make sure you pay these guys now. Don't let them look better out there and have to pay them more. There you go. Now you got CeeDee Lamb just wrecking it out there, and he's going to pump that the contract money up next month, or not next month, but at the end of the season. So we'll see what happens. The CeeDee Lamb definitely is going to be a Cowboy for a long time. Now, we also had an interesting situation there when it came to the offensive line. And I want to kind of touch on the offensive line because they had to pass protect for Dak. Tyron Smith allowed only one pressure against the Panthers. It was his first pressure he allowed since week 6. So, again, that means that Tyron Smith had a tougher game than usual, right? Brian Burns on the other side was giving our guys fits. Pressures allowed for the Cowboys. These are the pressures allowed from the Dallas Cowboy offensive line against the Panthers. Tyron Smith only one, and Tyler Smith also only one. Again, both guys were highly ranked on PFF. But Tyler Biadasz gave up 2 pressures. Zach Martin gave up 4 pressures.
Okay. And
Terrence Steele gave up 5 pressures. Terrence Steele still having issues and going up against Brian Burns, which is like the best guy on their defensive line. They're one of the best guys in the league at pass rushing. So the thing is, you saw Terrence Steele knocked his own helmet off, double blocking guys out there in the field on a running play. He plowed over 2 Panther defenders. His own helmet dislodged. Terrence Steele, that's when he's at his best out there, run blocking. Tyler Biadasz also cut in front and was able to get down the field to block and help down the field for Pollard on that long run. Ferguson was also another guy here, fantastic blocking from number 87, Jake Ferguson. But that was the block of the game, was Terrence Steele knocking 2 guys off the freaking field. And his helmet went flying too. Terrence Steele went going there. He's stacking better games. Again, this game was against, I would say, tougher competition in some ways than the Giants when it comes to Brian Burns. But Terrence Steele, I would say, probably had about 4 or 5 bad reps, which is too much, but still better than the previous weeks, especially against the Eagles. He only had a couple bad reps in pass protection. And again, spent a lot of time in this game on one-on-ones. He was not getting a lot of help this game. You say about chips, the Cowboys laid off on the chips as long as possible. There's no real chips or double teams or help from tight ends or running backs for Terrence Steele in this game. So he still allowed 5 pressures, but had a lot of one-on-ones. And again, I think he had 25. Burns one of the best under 25 and under pass rushers in the league. So again, overall, Terrence Steele, very good game compared to his usual stuff he's been putting out there, I'd say, in recent weeks. And then another guy I want to talk about who's having a down year. And we talked about the reason why is probably because of Terrence Steele, but Zach Martin. Zach Martin, guys, if you look at the tape with him, guys, this year, he has, I think, a 10.3% positively graded run blocking rate right now. That's the lowest of his career for Zach Martin. He also has a 9.3 negatively graded run blocking rate. That's the second lowest of his career. So he's not having a lot of mistakes, but he's not doing as good as he used to. You know what I mean? So you're seeing that in the analytics on Zach Martin. He also, right now, is allowing 5.2 pressure rate allowed is the highest of his career. And again, I think his 97.0 pass blocking efficiency rating is tied for the lowest of his career. So his efficiency is down for the lowest of his career. All right, he's not getting great graded run blocking stuff positively, and negatively he's doing better there. But again, the pressure rate is still allowing us the worst of his career. So Zach Martin is having issues. We talked about Terrence Steele factor, but is that the only thing? Look, let me just explain. These are not bad numbers. You put this against any NFL lineman, it's unbelievably, fantastically Hall of Fame-like numbers. But it is, you can see Zach Martin starting to decrease a little bit here, guys. They're down from his usual level of dominance to, it's pretty good, very good, top notch, but not dominant as he was. Again, guys, this is more about he hasn't been playing like the elite player that he's previously played at, in that sense, consistently for Zach Martin. So we are seeing a little bit of a difference there. I'm hoping to see, Zach Martin be able to maybe push a little harder here as we get towards the stretch run of the season, and of course when we get into the playoffs. Obviously, he's gonna have to show up there big time. And I do see in the chat we got a drop here. I don't know why it didn't go through here. I just saw it
I'm guessing it hasn't gone through yet. I didn't hear the little bell, but just
no, I don't see it here. But let's just shout them out because
sometimes it's a little slow there. But Alonda Hanslu, much love to you, with a $2 holler saying, "Did KC have a Super Bowl hangover tonight?"
I don't know. That Super Bowl's long over, so I don't think it's a Super Bowl hangover. But I
if
think
you're having a Super Bowl hangover in Week 11,
Yeah,
maybe give up on the
there.
Super Bowl this year.
Well, I just think that they had a lot. They played sloppy and gave the game back to the Eagles, and in the rain, a lot of drop passes there, and just no excuses, just the facts. They blew this game, the Chiefs, and allowed the Eagles to take it. It hurts the Cowboys. I wish the Cowboys would have been a little more proactive in winning their own games. Would have been nicer. Anyways, much love.
And again, thank you, Alonda. Appreciate that.
Alonda, thank you. When it does go through, Mark should be down to 32 points on that stream, boss. So much love.
Jera Jones.
Jera in the house.
Chat saying, I have a meeting with the hooker. Everyone, have a great Thanksgiving. So, Jera, take it easy. Thank you for taking time to
stop
appear
in.
And share some of your thoughts here.
Jerry, it sounds like Jerry's eating his turkey a little early today. Anyways, I will say this. Maybe we talked about kind of the way the Cowboys are kind of changing the schemes and stuff. Let me just say one thing about the running of this team, because I know Tony Pollard also spoke, right? I mean, he kind of said a couple of things,
yeah.
But I want to make sure before we get to Tony Pollard's comments, a couple of things I want to break down about the running game. All right, listen to this. Coming into this game against the Panthers, the Cowboys' most frequent run concept, the one we use the most, which concept the Cowboys use when we the run blocking side of things, Mike Soliari and his crew, it was inside zone. And what were the results? Not good. We have not done good there with the inside zone blocking. So we only averaged 3.3 yards per carry. That was 27th in the league when using that inside zone run block kind of concept there. So that's 27th in the league. We had the success. What was our success? 22.8% running inside with this inside zone blocking. That was also 27th in the league. But now, guys, in this game particularly, right, against the Panthers, the Cowboys averaged 6.3 yards per carry. All right, that's third right now. That would be third in the NFL with a success of 37.5% instead of that 22.8%. That puts us at ninth in the NFL. We still need, of course, more consistency. This is one game here, but I do think some of these additional wrinkles in the running game, which we're moving a little bit away from that inside zone run concept. I think it's these kind of explosive run opportunities, the way we're kind of, instead of blocking gap only, we're doing both of these things a little more interchangeable. I think it's Jeff Blasco. Remember, he was gone for a little bit, Blasco, with the medical matter. Mm-hmm. Blasco's return is you can see he's bringing around his flavor to this run game, and it's paying off for the Cowboys offense. So I want to see if this run block concept continues to the next games and beyond. Not just one game, but we're just doing it against the Panthers. We're going to keep watching for that, of course. But when you look at the run game and you look at the way the Cowboys have been using some of our guys, maybe the guy you want to see used, Hunter Lipke.
Finally.
You saw
now,
him used
we
more.
could have still used him a little bit more, maybe.
Well,
but I really like the way we used him in this game, particularly.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of used them, I would say, snap count-wise, sneaky. And what I mean by that is, again, I think we've kind of snuck him in a little more frequently in the run game to block. He's starting, again, you can see he's able to stay square when he's blocking. And he engages blocks. The way he does that is an improvement there, guys. So, again, as the season has progressed, he's gotten better, staying square, engaging. Again, it's opened up lanes for Tony Pollard, hitting those gaps now a little bit faster and quicker. So, again, you see Tony Pollard in the second level. Who's in front of him blocking a little bit better now? Hunter Lipke. So, not really catching or running the ball, Hunter Lipke. A lot more blocking for Tony Pollard, opening those gap lanes there for him. So, you're seeing a little bit change there when it comes to the way we're running the ball. Concepts we're running to run the ball here changed up somewhat, especially this last week against the Panthers. What about Tony Pollard himself? He spoke today. He's averaging 5.1 yards per carry against the Panthers. Mm-hmm. 12 rushing touches, I guess, for 61 yards. He had 12 rushes, 61 yards. And he also had a 10-yard loss on a busted Wildcat play. He would have had 71 yards on 11 carries if not for that stupid play call. So, again, it's outside of that dumb play call, Tony Pollard averaged 6.5 yards against the Panthers. Again, had a 21-yard touchdown run. Fantastic, right? And that, they used Hunter Lipke, I'm pretty sure, and the inside zone concept. And it sprung Pollard for probably the best run of his season this year so far. Of course, that touchdown, third touchdown of the year. Definitely a performance for Pollard to kind of build off of in weeks 1 through 9. Pollard was only credited with forcing 8 missed tackles, which is something he's done a lot of in his career. Over the last 2 weeks, he's forced a total of 10 missed tackles. So he's more than doubled what he did the last 2 weeks, what he did in the first 9 weeks of the season. He's more than doubled already in the last 2 weeks. So Pollard is finding his groove here as well. I know, let me rephrase this. Giants and Panthers, not a good run defense. I guess the Giants were pretty decent run defense. But either way, Pollard, the numbers aren't great. But he's finding himself kind of sliding off of defenders easier, more often. Maybe more Rico is helping him do that. See, as you get more Rico, you're getting a healthier and a less run down Tony Pollard. So I think you're kind of seeing that. So you're seeing all these running things here, whether it's Lipke, the blocking that we're using for our offensive line, the Lipke, the way we're using more Rico, how it helps Tony Pollard. What did Tony Pollard have to say about all of this stuff that I am just rattling off at the mouth about?
So, first of all, Pollard, with his touchdown specifically, right? So he started off with that. Of course he did. Saying, coaches did a great job of getting us a great play-in. The O-line cleared things out and gave me the lanes to run through, and I was just being physical. Running through arm tackles, making something happen. It felt great. It felt great just being in the open field, making plays, and then getting into the end zone.
Again, you just heard me break down the concepts we used. Lipke in the mix. Lipke in the mixy. Again, guys, we are, we're trying to fine-tune the running game as well. For the final quarter of the season and the playoffs and beyond.
So Pollard added in there, it was big, especially for the momentum of the game. They had just come off a touchdown to make it a one-score game. Yep. So it was big for us to go down there and get those points.
And 17-10 at that time, we came down there, we scored, answered, 24-10, field goal added on that, I think, or we missed an extra point, field goal added after that, and then we ended up, pick 6, baby, Deron Bland style.
So, and again, we do usually tend to heat up offensively more in November, December, and that way. So, anyway, he had it in there. We're just figuring out what works for us. What we like to run and what works best. We're just getting into a rhythm.
That's what, baby, I have not known any of these quotes. I know you do the interviews, but he basically just repeated what I just said in the sense that they're just trying to find what works best with this running game, tweaking it so we got it ready to go when we play the Eagles, the Bills, the Lions, the Dolphins, and the playoffs.
So, and, Pollard threw this out there. As soon as we get to Dallas, is back to work. It's a work day as soon as we touch down. So, again, when we talk about this shortened week, we talk about an updated schedule or things like that, hey, you're hearing it straight from the players. This was no Victory Monday to rest, relax, and recuperate.
And it's funny because Mike McCarthy started working immediately when they landed. So, it was last night at 9 o'clock after the game. They left Carolina, and by the time they got back to Dallas, he went back to the office and started working. I'll talk about that a little later when McCarthy spoke. But is that it from the offense, baby?
No, I have a little kind of funny recollection here from our favorite offensive lineman, Zach Martin. This cracks me up. He said that he's obviously been with the Cowboys for a little while now, and he has quite a few memories of Thanksgivings here with the Cowboys, but one in particular stands out to him. Said, quote, "I got pulled over one time on the way to the game on Thanksgiving. Travis Frederick was in the passenger seat too. Me and Trav were rolling down 121 trying to get to the stadium, and I got a ticket. I got a concussion in that game. Yeah. It was against the Chargers, and it really put a bow on the holiday."
Not a good holiday season for him when he got pulled over there for that Thanksgiving game. Hopefully nothing like that happens in this game.
Agreed. So, that's pretty much it on the offensive side of things, I said.
Yeah. Now, as we move it on to the defensive side, and then we get into the Commanders, and it's a night. We're calling it a night here, guys. But highest graded Cowboy defensive players against Carolina. Number 1 on this list, who else could it be other than the man we all know and love, the great Micah Parsons. Yeah, Micah Parsons is number 1. Number 2 on this list for the defense, Deron Bland. Oh, man. So, again, guys, Cowboys showing out there. DeMarcus Lawrence was third on this list. Damone Clark was fourth. And Neville Gallimore was fifth on the highest graded Cowboys PFF-wise. Now, let's start off with what happened with DaRon Bland on that field. Guys, crazy things happened. And DaRon Bland has very comparable stats to Stephon Gilmore in 2019. Do you know what happened in 2019 to Stephon Gilmore?
No.
He won Defensive Player of the Year that year in 2019 with very similar stats up to this point as DaRon Bland. Do you think he has a chance to go, to win it? Or it usually goes to a pass rusher. So remember, Trayvon Diggs had those interceptions, and he get close in the mix there, right? Trayvon Diggs himself said, quote, he should be in the conversation, end quote. And I agree. DaRon Bland has made a name for himself. He's been solid the entire year, and he is a Defensive Player of the Year. A Pro Bowler, easy. All-Pro, probably. Defensive Player of the Year, maybe. Now I am gonna kind of. I guess we're gonna hear from Stephen Jones. I want to know what you guys think about DaRon Bland, Defensive Player of the Year, or whatever he can do and be. But he has 6 interceptions this year. That's more picks this season than 7 entire NFL defenses. At this point of the year, that's insane to say.
I'm sure he's beating some receivers.
He is. Yeah, he is. And again, you guys listed some of them earlier, but
just saying, with numbers like that, not surprised in the least.
Yeah.
Like that is how you end up making a name for yourself. 6
interceptions. These defenses, the Chiefs have less than 6 interceptions. I don't know if after tonight's game, but the Chiefs and the Eagles both had less than 6. The Falcons, Packers, Panthers, Rams, and Titans all have less interceptions than DaRon Bland in their entire defense. Now, he also has 4 pick sixes for DaRon Bland. He's caught more touchdowns this year than any player on the Browns, the Colts, the Falcons, the Jets, the Rams, the Saints, and the Steelers.
No.
Incredible. He has more touchdowns than he plays defense. Now, you look at these teams, again, DaRon Bland has 4 pick sixes. The Seahawks 2, Jaguars 2, Colts 2, Panthers 2, Giants 2. 13 teams are tied with 1. I'm just saying, this is compared to total defenses there, guys. When it comes to pick sixes, he's putting points up on his own. He's his own team.
Yeah, remember, we're comparing Bland. One singular person against entire NFL organizations at this point.
DaRon Bland has become PFF's highest graded cornerback in the NFL. We talked about Dak being the highest graded quarterback. We have the highest graded cornerback, and that's DaRon Bland right now. By the PFF analytics, he's the only cornerback who has played at least 500 total snaps this year, but has also allowed less than a 48% reception rate when targeted. If you're getting picked on 500 times, you probably have a 78% or 68% completion percentage allowed. No, DaRon Bland's keeping it under 50% right there at 48%. The last 2 players across the NFL to have at least 11 interceptions in their first 27 career games, DaRon Bland and Trayvon Diggs. No surprise there. We drafted the 2 best corners in the league right now if Diggs was playing. I know Stephen Jones even spoke about DaRon Bland. He was on 105.3 The Fan today. I think it was on K&C Masterpiece. Anyways, Stephen Jones said, hold up, I got to speak on this situation here.
Got to give some love and appreciation
to DaRon Bland.
The man DaRon Bland, right? He said...
What does Stephen say about D. Bland?
He's certainly playing as well as anybody as far as we're concerned. A lot of people forgot last year that he led all rookies in interceptions.
Damn right.
That's one of the things that we're stressing when we do draft corners are their ball skills. We've had a lot of corners that are very, very sticky in coverage and play the position well, but haven't had the ball skills. Guys like Diggs and Bland have.
Damn right they have.
Bland is showing everybody why we liked him.
No, I think.
Sorry. Guys like Newman and Byron Jones.
Terrence Newman, in case you guys didn't know. Yeah, I just want to make sure everyone knows who Newman is.
Are top corners, but they were not necessarily interceptors of the ball.
They weren't ball hawks, is what he's trying to say.
It's so funny because when he was saying that, you have guys that are sticking coverage, play the position well, but don't necessarily get the picks, the first person I thought of was Byron Jones because, again, that's
what he is. He's a
lockdown guy. That's one of the reasons why we loved him when we had him, right?
Lockdown guy, but nobody feared him because he never got the picks.
Mm-hmm. So, anyway, he said, certainly we've got 2 of them now. Diggs, unfortunately, not being able to play for us right now. So, and Stephen Jones is obviously talking about Trayvon Diggs and Bland,
Yes.
respectively.
Yeah, being back there together, ball hawking.
So, and like Steven said, Bland has shown everyone why we liked him. Just making plays on the ball, which we can all see how that ultimately can win football games for you. That pick six, that's what we really needed to put that game away yesterday, and he continues to make plays like that for us.
Woo, man, that was crazy last night. We watched that happening. I think I even said pick six coming up. You know, I was hoping for it. I said it we all said it the whole week. It finally happened. Another one. And let's get another one on Thanksgiving from Mr. DaRon Bland and break the all-time record. Why do I say that? I mean, again, guys, we talked about it the other day, the all-time record when it comes to these numbers, how close it is for him to kind of catch up to that, maybe break it. We should see that happen, you know, hopefully one of these last games of the season, the remaining schedule, and we can maybe see him, go into the NFL record books. So I mean, I just wanted to double check something here because, again, I think that, I think that's it, actually, on my side of things.
I know that was it from Steven, at least.
Yeah, but I know that DaRon Bland also kind of, he spoke after the game yesterday, too, right?
Yeah, he did.
So DaRon Bland, again, one of the stars of the game to me. Him and Mike on defense are the two guys running the show right now, and DaRon Bland spoke after this win. Another pick six performance from him. Fantastic. What did he say?
He said, once I had the ball in my hands, I wanted to keep it going and go score. I saw him running an under, and he kind of had a steep on me at first, so I had to catch up. But once I caught up and turned, I saw the ball was coming, and I said, I have to go get this one. And he is talking, obviously, about his pick six, specifically,
of course,
in case you were wondering. So he had it in there. It just makes another goal to break it. I think it was when I touched the end zone. I was like, wow, I just did that. I tied the record. I'm level-headed now, and I don't want to go break it. Sorry, I'm level-headed now, and I want to go break it. It wasn't really about the record. It's really about being in the history books and being remembered. Yeah, I
mean, he'll be an all-time legend in that sense. And also, again, remember, guys, DaRon Bland, when he got into the end zone, Micah came up to him. They were all yelling, celebrating. Everybody was holding up four fingers.
It was a team.
Yeah, celebration there. But they were all kind of saying, they were all holding up the four fingers in the huddle after the touchdown, which was awesome to see. If you watch the replay, you see them all because they all knew he just tied the record. Like they all knew it was a big thing, not just like a great play in the game, which is great, but it was also the team was so happy for him getting that fourth pick six. So everyone knew it. So hey, that's fantastic. I love hearing that.
I know, we love to see it. So and he added in there, it goes back to high school and playing receiver, always playing the ball in my hands. That's a play I can make any other day.
Sounds just like Trayvon Diggs, right? He played receiver and similar concepts there. Whew, I love these
honestly,
stars. Love it.
I think Diggs is going to have some competition when he gets back in the best way possible, right?
No better way.
No one's taking his spot. It's more a fact of these guys are going to push each other, because they're going to both be fighting for the number one corner spot on this team.
Imagine if I said, for most people, imagine we have two Trayvon Diggs on our team, they're like, damn. For some other people, they're like, imagine we have two DaRon Blands on this team. They're like, damn, we got that. And
then there's that special third person.
Hey.
We got Diggs and Bland on this team.
Well, yeah, I mean, if we added,
I'm making, because you said we have two of them.
Yeah, no, I mean, again,
I'm making a joke.
I mean, if we somehow can get a rookie in there that can be like a high flying slot guy or something like this, whether Bland can play inside or outside. So there's a lot of options, a lot of mobility with him. We can use versatility, I should say, with DaRon Bland. So I'm looking to see what he can do. You know how many yards passing the Panthers had against us? I don't know if you have anything more about DaRon Bland.
A little bit more.
But I was going to say that. Well, okay. I was going to say this. The Cowboys limited the Panthers to 77. This is including all the sacks and everything. You lose yardage there, but they limited them to 77 net yards passing. The Cowboys held their last two opponents, the Giants and the Panthers, to 138 combined passing yards. Two teams combined yardage in the air. 138. Sometimes, you get that in a quarter from a quarterback sometimes. The Cowboys haven't allowed in 2 games to go over 138 yards. Last time the Cowboys allowed less passing yards in a 2-game span was back in 1992 against the Eagles and against Seattle the week after that. Just domination then, domination now. Again, look at the teams we're playing, though. Back then it was the Eagles, which were good, and then the Seattle Seahawks, which I don't remember. But my point is, this time it was the shitty Giants and the shitty Panthers. So anyways, maybe DaRon Bland part of that, obviously. What else did he say yesterday post-game after the big win and after his big day?
It just makes another goal to break it. I think it was when I touched the end zone. It was like,
No,
wow.
you said that already, yep.
Yep,
he had said that. Yeah, I got the record, he said. Right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So then, sorry, I guess I forgot you into...
I didn't interrupt you, but that time. But you have to kind of stop.
Anyway, Bland went on there to say, it goes back to high school and playing receiver, always having the ball in my hands, because that's a play I can make any other day.
Yeah.
So I got no...
Like Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah, so, and adding in there, I got no thoughts on it. It is what it is. If I don't make it, I have to make them pay.
Well, so, he's making them pay.
Yeah, Bland is obviously a man on a mission here.
Yes, he is. And listen, I don't want him to lose focus about records, but you just focus on pick sixes or interceptions and let that develop to a pick six. You know, he'll get it 5 or 6. Who knows what the limit is for a season for him? By the way, we talked about defensive players of the year. Does he have a chance to get into this right now? But baby, look at the list of guys right now. Right now, starting where DaRon Bland is at, he's tied with Roquan Smith, 8,000 to 1 odds for defensive player of the year. Josh Allen and Hassan Reddick, and not Josh Allen, the quarterback. Josh Allen and Hassan Reddick, 6,600 to 1 is their number. Chris Jones, Aiden Hutchinson, 5,000 to 1. Fred Warner, 4,000 to 1. Nick Bosa, same thing. Daniel Hunter, 3,500 to 1. Max Crosby, 2,200 to 1. And then it jumps to like the top 3 guys, which are to the hundreds now. We were talking about thousands. TJ Watt, 275 to 1 odds. Micah Parsons is second on this list, 180 to 1 odds. And Myles Garrett, 120 to 1 odds. So right now it's like Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, TJ Watt, and then down in the thousands to 1 is DaRon Bland. So I don't see him making the move yet, but if he continues this route, if he continues doing this and he keeps his numbers to this way, he's definitely good. Like Trayvon Diggs said, 1,000% should be in the conversation. Just because he's the only non-edge rusher here in this list don't mean shit. He's obviously the best outside of edge rusher. He's the best defensive player on that field. Best defensive back in the game right now is this guy here, number 26, Mr. DaRon Bland out of Fresno State, 5th round pick for the Cowboys in 2022. You know what we're going to do. So anyways, now he spoke, but also I know we had another last speaker and the last couple of stats I want to bring up by the man who got the highest ranked on the PFF list. And again, 2.5 sacks. Why did I say 2.5? Because they only counted that sack. We were worried about that. Initially, they counted it as 3 sacks. That one with Jaron Kearse, but they gave a half sack to Jaron Kearse and the other half to Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons, though, was still unstoppable Week 15 against the Panthers. Graded-wise, the highest graded guy in our team, 94.5 PFF grade. It's elite. That's ultra elite. He had 9 pressures in this game, 6 hurries, 3 stops on the ground. He had 2.5 sacks and a 40% pass rush win rate. You know that 40% pass rush win rate raised his season-long pass rush win rate to 34.6. So basically 35% of the time. Over 1 out of every 3 snaps, he's going to pressure the quarterback. The record, since it's been kept, is 2017. The record over a course of a full season is 33.7 by Joey Bosa in 2017. 33.7. Right now, Mike has a whole percentage point over him. So if there's any chance that to be broken, it seems like Micah is in prime position to do that. You know, again, I want to reiterate, his sack total was changed from 3 sacks to 2.5 sacks. Jaron Kearse was credited with that half sack. But even with that 2.5 sack game that Micah had, it ties a career high that he set as a rookie against the Denver Broncos back in the game that we lost to Denver. Remember the bicentennial helmets? Yeah, that ugly game against Denver. We got our offense figured out. Got figured out by Kellen Moore's offense was figured out against the defense of the Broncos. But Micah had 2.5 sacks that game. So again, he tied that career high in a game sacks with that rookie game. He tied that against the Panthers this week. So that's good to see there. Also, Micah Parsons is the first player in franchise history with 10 sacks in each of his first 3 seasons. Again, guys, First player in Cowboy history to do that. He's also the 9th player since 1982 when they kept the sack records to be able to put in a 10-plus sack season in each of their first 3 seasons. Is the first time a guy has gotten 10 sacks or more in the first 3 years of his career. The last time that happened was back in 2005, 6, and 7 by Sean Merriman of the Chargers. So Micah Parsons, man, these are things that were done like 2 decades ago. And some of these other things were done, hasn't been done since 1982. So I'm just saying since the beginning of this thing, Micah is a maniac out there on the field, dominating everyone. What did Micah have to say, baby, before we get to the first look of the Commanders? What did Micah have to say in this whole situation, the game he had yesterday?
Well, I was kind of hoping to finish up on the Bland stuff.
Oh, well, you heard me switching, baby. I thought you had...
I didn't get the chance to even say or do anything, my love.
Okay, well, yeah, I guess that's me. Go ahead, baby. Hit up the Deron Bland ending of things that you wanted to say. I know we had other people to talk about him, like Micah, like McCarthy and others.
Yeah, McCarthy threw out there, it's a great example of the detail that he plays with, as in Bland, especially for a young corner. The shallow crossing route kind of drifted upfield a bit. He cuts under it, takes a perfect angle, and makes a huge play. I just can't say enough about him. He's done it since the first day. He's played so well last year for us, and he's having an incredible season.
Well, that's facts right there.
So... now we can go ahead and start talking about Micah Parsons.
I thought Dak and others spoke about him. Didn't you say Dak had a comment about
We
Bland?
have one single comment about it, but right now let's go ahead and do the Micah Parsons stuff because Micah Parsons also spoke about Deron Bland.
You're running the show, my love. Go
yeah,
ahead.
thank you.
Yeah, about time.
So I know what they said. So
I know. Go ahead, hit it up.
He said he's having a Defensive Player of the Year type year. He should be a lock for All-Pro. He's on a remarkable, unbelievable run right now. Mm. So, yeah, again, Micah Parsons, speaking truth. So, by the way, rolling back there a little bit there, specifically on the Micah Parsons side of things, as we know, some people were talking their ish. Oh, Micah's this, Micah's that. Oh, Micah used that, obviously, as some personal motivation. He said, I kind of like it when people go against me a little bit. That always gets me a little bit more motivated. Teams are doing some unordinary things to slow me down, and it kind of throws you off your game. So we have seen Micah definitely get a little bit frustrated here and there, seeing how teams do try to get even more and more creative to stop him or slow him down.
He was seeping through there the whole game, breaking double teams, sometimes triple teams, sometimes using the concepts by Dan Quinn that would kind of drop Fowler into like a stunt look, and that little hesitation by the lineman would allow Micah to slip through. His speed and his talent, his quickness, very hard to stop Micah Parsons when he knows the play. Fowler is in tandem with him to play, almost play acted out, and you force a triple team turn into a double team, and a double team Micah beats pretty much all the time. So, yeah, the great Micah Parsons struck again, this time personally, not just helping his teammates.
Yeah, Micah said, it just goes to show they have to account for me. I know they were trying to do everything they can to slow me down. With me moving around and doing the things that I do, it definitely draws more attention. In the second half, there were a lot more double teams, a lot more chips and things like that. It's just being impactful. That's when everyone else eats, as we saw.
Yeah,
I think when I do that, it just sets the tone for the game.
And he ain't lying. I mean, Micah does that. He controls the game. He helps control the opponent, and he helps his guys get involved, which you can see him doing consistently out there. Micah Parsons, he took a lot of breaks this game, vomiting on the sideline. We talked about that, I think, yesterday. I don't know if he spoke about that.
He actually did speak about it a little bit more.
So he's doing this 2.5 sacks and still getting these pressures and hits on quarterbacks and hurries. And he's doing all this in double and triple teams. Guys, nobody understands how difficult is what he's doing out there. And maybe if it's going to get down to a 3-man race, it seems, again. TJ Watt, Micah Parsons, and Myles Garrett. We got to see. I think that Micah continues to do this. I think Micah's going to get that top spot, in my opinion.
So, and by the way, guys, in case you're wondering, because we're all thinking it, how does Micah Parsons end up throwing up on the sideline, but he's supposedly not sick? So, you already said it. He took some C4 protein energy powder. Micah saying, it's something I've never done before. I took the scope of C4 dry. As soon as I took it...
A scoop.
I mean, it says scope.
Oh,
I'm guessing
okay.
it means scoop.
Yeah, it's a scoop, I think. It's like a powder protein drink.
He said as soon as I took it, I was like, ooh, this is strong. I got some water to help put it down, but by the 5th play, my heart felt like it was about to jump out of my chest. I was like, oh my God. It's still messing me up. I felt like CO2 was bottled up in my chest and I was about to explode.
Jesus.
Eventually, I just started throwing up. It was all coming out, and I was like, I'm never doing that shit again.
You know,
It's supposed to get you hype, but I definitely felt the difference. I just didn't expect my heart to feel like that. Maybe it was the amount that put me over, because it was pretty intense.
I know about these drinks, energy drinks, and obviously it makes your heart go. Also, I know protein drinks. But the point is, I think you're supposed to mix it in the water or something, right?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to scoop it in your mouth and just down it with water. That sounds like you did it wrong.
It's not just that, he took like an extra special strong one or something. He literally shoved the powder in his mouth and then swallowed the water.
To take it down. That's like, you're not really getting what it's supposed to be meant. That's just, it sounds dangerous to me. I don't know. But Micah said he ain't doing that shit ever again.
But, here's the but, right? Because Micah had 2.5 sacks in this game, he was asked, you sure you're not going to take it again? He's like, I might go half a scoop. And of course, he was kind of joking because he was laughing as he said it. But you go ahead and interpret that how you want. So, and he did throw out there that his performance this past Sunday is just him getting warmed up. He wants to be the most outstanding player this Thanksgiving game, saying 2.5 sacks, it's great. But I told my teammates, I'm going for that turkey leg on Thanksgiving Day.
So he's going to, again, he wants to help everyone get their sacks. He wants to get everybody in the mix. He wants to, do his thing as the great Micah Parsons, kind of kicks things off. But not just about him doing things that create other people's, stats and control of the game. It's about him taking over early and often in this game against Washington. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it in much more detail tomorrow and Wednesday. But we got to talk about this Washington offensive line, and I think what's coming is scary. It's Micah once again. And then got to double, triple, quadruple him. And eventually he'll get through, and so will the rest of our defensive line. So bring it on, right?
Yeah. So, and at least on my side of things, I think that was it. Right?
Well, I think so.
Yeah,
Micah finished it off there.
We spoke about Bland. We already spoke. So, so that was it. At least on my side of things.
The Commanders.
As far as everybody who spoke, everyone who shared their thoughts.
You're seeing here. I'll wait for the Commanders highlight to come up again. That throws them out the way. Well, as you can see here, when we go up with the Commanders, Micah's going to try to have a field day here against the Washington Commanders. Our next opponent here. They just took an L to the Giants in an ugly fashion yesterday.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that the C4 protein powder probably has like added caffeine and taurine and all those types of energy boosting things and stuff.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna run your heart.
I know
up a
for me,
bit.
I'm like very sensitive to that stuff, so I actually can't really. I'm not supposed to drink energy drinks or do anything like that, and I don't.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I understand that heart bursting out of your chest feeling.
There's Washington.
Just from maybe something that has some caffeine in it or something else. So if Micah did that whole freaking scoop, man. He's lucky he didn't get pulled aside from the game and told to sit down, take a break.
Yeah, he did have some breaks in this game, but again, I think it was more related to, the throwing up scoop. I don't know about the heartbeat situation, but man, I'm just glad he didn't get sicker than that. You know what I mean? Now, I will say this: we have the next opponent up on our list here. It's the Washington Commanders, like I just said. And you see them. Well, it used to be the what the fucks, right? I mean, the WFT, the Washington football team, I flipped it around there for you. It used to be owned by Daniel Snyder and the Commies there. Now they're the Washington Commanders, the Commies. And Snyder's not there, but his legacy will always stink up the place. And you can always, one or the other, Lennon, the Commies, whatever. You got a team that we need to kick ass on that field. And this game, the Cowboys have opened up as 10.5-point favorites. Again, double-digit line for us to be the favorites at home for this Thanksgiving Day game against the Washington Commanders. The Cowboys will have CBS's number one crew, obviously, for this Thanksgiving game. We're on CBS this week. And, of course, they're only playing one game. That's our game. So, of course, we get their top crew. This is the 10th time in 11 games. 10th game in 11 games. 10th in 11 games this year where the Cowboys have had that network's top crew of the season. So, again, when you look at things like this, the only game we didn't get the top crew was the Arizona Cardinals. So the next 2 Cowboy games on top of this one, I mean, after Thanksgiving, which will be on the top crew there at CBS, we're also going to get the Seattle game, which is also Amazon Prime's top crew, of course, Al Michaels. And then we get the next week after that, the Eagles on Sunday Night Football, Chris Collinsworth. So we get the top crew. Guys, we're going to have 12 of at least 13, 12 out of our 13 games are going to have the top broadcasting crew in attendance. And if we're getting CBS's, we're getting Tony Romo this week with the Commanders. Also, you got to imagine that after the Eagles, we get at Buffalo and at Miami. You got to expect we might get both of those top groups of broadcasters as well. And again, we know Week 17 we're already getting it. Jimmy Johnson getting the Ring of Honor with ESPN, so we're going to be on that again, getting the top crew there. So again, guys, I mean, you got almost I'd say the Washington game, the last game of the season, is the only one we probably won't get the top crew unless it really means something, it means big things. So we'll have to wait and see about that. But man, we are again, that's why it's the Dallas Cowboys, guys. The Dallas Cowboys. It brings in a lot of eyes, a lot of likes, a lot of cash money for the networks and for the NFL. They love to use us. They love to broadcast us. Now, what does this have to do with the Dallas Cowboys? Well, when we look at our Cowboys up next here, who spoke today about this upcoming game? Let me clear the path here. From Mike McCarthy. Yeah, Mike McCarthy spoke. Listen to this. He was back at the Star at 9 p.m. Sunday night after the Carolina game, flew back, setting up Monday's practice before heading to his house. So he went right from the plane to the Star facility, setting up Monday's practice, then head to his house with his family. Then he was back at the Star at 5:15 a.m. on Monday. He said, quote, "I had to buy Brian Schottenheimer a hot white chocolate mocha. I was embarrassed to go in and get it. I need to talk to him about that." Yeah, I guess not McCarthy's style there. But McCarthy said from a practice perspective this week, the schedule for a short week before Thanksgiving is pretty obvious. And we knew this was going to happen. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is the usual work week, the practice week on the field. Of course, this week there's going to be a couple walkthroughs with a quick turnaround. Tuesday let me put it this way. Monday is the Wednesday practice day. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
Monday is like our Wednesday practice days. Usually have a walkthrough. Today the Cowboys kind of did something like that. The Tuesday, tomorrow, it's going to be like our Thursday. That's the big hitting pad day. Wednesday is like our Saturday. I know we skipped Friday. It goes to Saturday. We have another walkthrough going through there day before the game. It's really our Saturday practice schedule where we just do a walkthrough to see who can make this game or not. And of course, Thursday, well, it's the game against the Commanders on Thanksgiving. That's the schedule this week. And McCarthy also touched on, the people wondering why DeRon Bland is people surprised about him. I know you mentioned some McCarthy quotes. I don't think it's the same one. But he said this, quote, "He's been playing top-notch football going into his second year. I don't know why people are surprised about him still." So again, McCarthy said that the team recognized DeRon Bland in the team meeting today. Today's team meeting. That's good stuff there. Of course, practice went down. It was only hats, helmets, and cleats, right? On Monday, today was some jogging during the reps. That's the plan for tomorrow. And then the ramp up for Wednesday walkthrough is going to mimic the Saturday formula there. But again, the big pad day is really like a Friday. I mean, it's this Tuesday practice is going to be like a Friday practice where it's a little lighter, not as much hitting in there. So it's going to be a very slowed down week for all of our guys. And again, what McCarthy said is this. It's going to be the same number of reps for this practice, this week of practice. The same amount of reps you get in the 3 days, in the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You're getting the same reps here in the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But the difference is less taxing physically. And that's the whole GPS monitoring of these guys' health.
Yeah, so at least when it comes to I hate to be the person to break down like this, but like the mental side of things, right? It feels very much like a business as usual. So I think this is like a happy little compromise between making sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to do, keeping things fresh, staying in that kind of locked in football mindset, while also being cognizant of the extra time and rest that a lot of these players want/need.
Yeah, I agree. Fine line there to kind of how you balance it. McCarthy seems to be doing a good job doing that, right? So, the last thing about what McCarthy said relates to an injury situation we got going on. And we saw it yesterday happen in the game where we see, kind of like CeeDee Lamb kind of slip and fall. Looked at his knee, his leg, his ankle. He was a little gingery for a couple of plays. And McCarthy was asked about how CeeDee Lamb doing with the ankle. He tweaked his ankle. What happened? And McCarthy said, quote, "It's not of high concern because it's Monday." He said the Cowboys will not ask him to open up his practice ability until Wednesday, right before the game against the Commanders. So we're going to keep an eye on that. He also said something about Jaron Kearse kind of being banged up with a back issue for Jaron Kearse. And he said that, still not a high concern when it comes to Jaron Kearse also. Meaning, this is what McCarthy's basically saying, that CeeDee Lamb's injury and Jaron Kearse's injury are not anything of concern. That's good news there. But again, how was the injury? How was practice today? Like I said, it was just shells and shorts today, right? It was just a walkthrough type of practice. The reps are the same, but it's not going to be the hitting and the taxing physically because of the quick turnaround. So when you look at the injury report for the Cowboys, listen closely to this. Rico Dowdle with the ankle did not practice. We expected that from him being questionable in this game. Jaron Kearse with the back did not practice. McCarthy said not a high concern. CeeDee Lamb with the ankle who was limited in practice, which means he at least got on that field. But again, not high concern according to McCarthy. And the last guy, Terrence Steele, the last major guy here is Terrence Steele. Terrence Steele was also on the injury list with an ankle. But he was limited in practice. He did not miss the practice completely, which is great news. Looking at the full numbers here, guys, again, Dowdle and Kearse, the only guys that missed practice. CeeDee Lamb and Terrence Steele, the only guys that were limited in practice. And then the rest of the guys were full practice. Just something to keep watching, though. Turpin with the shoulder, full practice. We have Osa Odigizua with the hamstring. Both these guys had this injury last week. Full practice, so that's a good sign for Osa. And then the guy who's not officially on our team right now, Peyton Hendershot, probably going to get moved onto the team this week sometime. He was full practice as well with that, again, out on the injury on the IR for 4 weeks. Kind of is getting worked back into the practices. Good to go again. The whole last 4 practices, Peyton Hendershot's been full go. Could have probably come into this game if the Cowboys were ready to make a move. I don't think there's any injuries that are going to keep any of our guys onto the IR. So we got to cut somebody once Hendershot comes on the squad. Again, I'm going to repeat this. If it happens tomorrow, you guys said, hey, I heard on MCF. I believe, like I said last week, when we bring Hendershot onto the 53, we'll probably have to cut Sean McEwen and then pick up Sean McEwen on the practice squad. That's my guess on what we do there. But that's our breakdown of our injury report. That's the update on CeeDee Lamb and everybody else. And by the way, just so you guys know, against this Washington Commander team, I mean, they're banged up somewhat as well in the quick turnaround. The guys that are currently full practice, Cody Barton, linebacker, who, again, is a guy who's kind of like Peyton Hendershot, trying to get moved back on there at linebacker with an ankle injury. And they had Curtis Samuel, the receiver, with a toe injury, full practice. Both those guys are good to go. Sam Cosmi, guard, not a good guard at all, but I think he's their starting guard, had a chest injury, was limited. And then you had Antonio Gibson, running back. That's their starting running backs, one of their starting running backs. Toe injury was limited, and Jartavius Martin, defensive back with a shoulder, was also limited in practice. The guy that did not practice at all, Alex Arma, fullback, was out with a hamstring. Emmanuel Forbes Jr., their first-round pick, their cornerback, has an elbow injury. He did not practice. DeJohn Harris, at linebacker, had a quad injury, did not participate in practice. Effie Obada, lineman, defensive lineman, tibia fibula injury. Not sure exactly what that is. He did not practice. I don't know if he's out for the year, what's going on. But yeah, it looks bad. And James Smith Williams, the edge rusher for the Commanders, had a hamstring injury, did not participate in practice. The Cowboys offense have scored 19 passing touchdowns this year. We've thrown for 19 touchdowns. You know, Dak, right now, he's the highest quarterback. He has the most touchdowns in the NFC. Right now, Dak Prescott, the most touchdowns thrown in the NFC. So in our conference. So
that's my quarterback.
Yeah, Cowboys offense has scored 19 passing touchdowns, and that's the third most in the NFL. The Washington Commanders defense has allowed 24 passing touchdowns this year. That is by far the most in the NFL. So you already know what we're going to talk about this week when it comes to the Commanders. Throw that ball, Dak, dice them apart. You got to dice them up in this game. That Washington Commander defense is hurting. And now they got Forbes. Looks like he's out or having issues to get into this, to make it into this, to this game. He's at least questionable. I mean, limited, not limited. I think, is he limited? I think he was limited or didn't practice, which means, they could be even struggling even more so if they don't have Forbes back there, their star rookie on that field. So there you go, guys. Practice, the injury reports on both sides, the Commanders break down, the first look of the Commanders. We'll talk much more about their defense and offense tomorrow and on Wednesday here on My Cowboys Family. I don't know why we're having problems with our
it's only, for some reason, it's only for you, Alonda. But the other ones went through just fine.
But it stopped after Amazing Games. And that was, again, she's the only one that dropped the love here.
But Alonda Hansley, much love. Yeah, with her $10 holler saying, I'm wearing my white Miami Dolphins miniskirt. It's a skort. So cute. Has long, narrow slits on both sides. And my husband told me, if the Cowboys beat the Dolphins, I'm ripping that skirt up.
Woo! Make sure you guys
hopefully not while you're still wearing it, because that would be a little bit.
Make sure. I think she's saying with it on. But what I'm saying.
No, as in if they win, he's going to
rip it,
literally rip it up. Yeah.
I thought you meant rip it off of her.
No, literally rip up the skirt.
Yeah.
So.
Either way, Alonzo.
The same way we burned that.
I remember that. I still think Amazing Games is still in front of Alonda. I'm sorry, Hansalu here by just a drop or two, but he's in front there in second place. In first place is Hannibal King right there. I think he's in first place. I should double check things here, baby. Just hit up the last couple of comments
and
them shout outs.
While we're doing that, make sure to double check that you guys hit the like button, right?
Yeah.
One of the best, easiest, simplest ways you guys can show the love here at MCF. Of course, not just hitting like, subscribing down below, hitting that notification bell, following us anywhere and everywhere at My Cowboys Family. And, of course, hop in the Discord link for that's in the description box down below.
Damn right.
Amazing Games, much love to you. Go ahead and take it easy. Have a good one. Raul saying 40 burger on Turkey Day. There you go. Maybe it's a turkey burger.
It should be.
It's a turkey burger. Swarton said, "Oh yeah."
Is that Swarty in the house?
What's up, Swarton?
He's probably squirting all over the place.
Pioneer said, Tyron Smith plays better when he's not practicing. Yeah, like I said, we might have found the secret sauce to using Tyron Smith, and it's apparently not using him.
Not in practice.
In practice only, but still ironic and funny. Just saying.
True.
Let me see. Lost in Translation said, what about the refs?
What about the refs?
Hey, play a clean enough game that the refs don't matter. That's we've said it before.
No true word spoken.
I'm gonna keep saying it, especially with some of the ref shenanigans we keep seeing. That's what I mean by luck as well. Because guess what? We have seen it consistently. The refs are going to fuck up something somewhere, even if we get a lucky break, even if we whatever. They're gonna call something and they're gonna mess it up, and they're especially gonna do it while the Dallas Cowboys are playing.
But don't leave it up to the refs in their hands. That's Cowboys got to play cleaner. That's
better
the way
to have
it's
one
be.
ruined drive than to have a ruined game.
Yeah. You got to win the game. Look, Amazing Games. I fixed the board now. Amazing Games is in first place right now. A little bit in front of Alonda Hanslu in second place. We got Hannibal King, 47. He's in third place. Jason Renfro drops to fourth place on the board with Calvin Richard in fifth place, rounding out the top spot. But Jason Renfro, he's got not just the champion of gifting, he's got a 1-0 lead against everybody else in the house. Much love to Jason Renfro. He is the gifting leader this week, trying to take over here on all these boards. Sponsor of the week. We've been running this thing, and you know why the man is here, Mr. Snug X. Much love to Snug. You see him out there as our sponsor of the week. You'll see him here as the Cash App King. Much appreciation to the King. Much love to Snug X. Marco Sepian's running with 34 points, still hanging on to that stream boss. Looking good there, Mr. Mark. Again, he's been holding on to that board for a while. A stream boss. So
yes, he has.
Much love to him. Now the overall leader is Amazing Games. Currently, like I said, the leader, Stanley Smith was last week's king. This week's leader is Jason Renfro. He's leading again in the mix there on the overall board, leading the Cash App board and leading the gifting board. Everyone's showing up. Appreciate everybody here tonight, hitting that like, subscribe, and notification bell, baby. This is the last shout outs as we wrap this thing up, and any comments that you see, you can drop in there. Definitely do that as well.
Of course. Smodius, Raul, Swerton, Amazing Games, Pioneer, Lost in Translation, Mike Aldana, Raul, kind of rolling back, Alonda Hanslu, Anonymous ASMR. Let me see. Actually, wait a minute. Oh, there we go. Asmodeus, of course. Rolling back, Skeptical Fan, always staying skeptical.
Always.
Skeptical Fan, no, I don't think we ever did find out why Turpin got shoved. Guessing it was just, once again, pettiness. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I just think they were just pissed.
Yeah.
Some people say it's the script. Please. Please.
Jerry Jones, of course, also here. Burn Bar, much love. Mike Aldana, MH. Aztec Aguilar 04. Yeah, at least for now, that's as far back as I can go. But if I come back down here, you know who I have here, baby?
Who's in the house?
Alonda Hanslu.
Ooh, in the house.
With a $5 holler coming through again.
With the 5 on it. What did she
I
say?
Appreciate me. She said, not off me. My husband said he's gonna hold up my Dolphins mini skirt and rip it up.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was going off of her previous comments.
The skirt, not rip off
I was going off of her very, very seductive comments in the past. That's all. I'm just saying. Let's love Alonda Hanslu in the house, who, by the way, now is in a tie for first place, neck and neck with Amazing Games. They're both at the top of the board right now. Alonda Hanslu, Amazing Games. Who's going to get that sponsor of the week? We shall see. We shall see. So, again, I think you hit the whole board up, right, baby?
Yes. So, yeah,
Yeah,
that's all the shout-outs here for everybody here in the chat.
Yeah.
And, guys.
Yeah, I think I shouted everybody else out that dropped the love today, but let me just do it one last time in case I forgot. Jason Renfro, Amazing Games, Calvin Richard, Alonda Hanslu, and Hannibal King 47. Go Cowboys. Thank you for repping it here with us. And, baby, let everybody know why we do this here on the Nightly on My Cowboys Family.
It's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly. Here on MCF, we rep this star over everything. Guys, thank you for rocking it with us here all night long. Chilling here on this little corner of YouTube for 6+ years on this channel here, doing our thing into our 7th NFL season. Baby, before we can drop out and clock out for the night, well, you know, relock and reload, but we know all that's coming a little later. Baby, never forget, here, now, and forever. As always, say it with us, say it loud, say it proud. Go Cowboys! Let's get that 6 and beyond. And you guys in the chat, thank you for dropping your knowledge all night long. Thank you guys as well for dropping the love from above. And baby, as we clock out and drop out for the night here on this side of things, for relock and reload for a quick kind of review and preview of this Washington Commander team in the next 2 days and get ready for Thanksgiving, Turkey Day, baby, before we can officially drop out for the night. Tell them what we got to do.
We got to drop the beat.
Oh, yeah. The beat officially has been dropped. Thank you all for repping it here. That star with us in this recap / first look Cowboy Family chat. Hell yeah. We did it together, guys. Thank you again. I hope we gave you guys some things to remember and recall about our Cowboys. And, of course, we appreciate everybody here with the discussions. All the discussions. We had a lot of discussions, kicking it off with the Jimmy and Jerry situation, the Carolina game, the Washington game, the injuries related to this, and more here, as we always try to do here on the Nightly. Great performances by our team, but especially from our defense, from Micah Parsons and Deron Bland. Dak kept it together. Pollard had some nice yards on the ground. The blocking scheme has been altered. McCarthy's scheme has been improved and continues to stay on that track. It's all good news. But now let's do that against the better teams in life, right? Let's do that. Here in MCF, it's about that navy blue, silver too, and star over everything. Never forget the number one thing right here in My Cowboys Family. Much love to everyone in the house, all the family in the house. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Hit the like, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell. Much love to all. And before we get on out of here, guys, stay safe, much love, and as always, never, ever, ever forget, Go Cowboys!
Monk on the beat.